What is going on, party people? It is the Platform Sports Talk Show. I am your boy Smooth. Welcome into another edition of your Wednesday night sports delight. Go ahead right now, you see on the screen, get them shares going. Y'all know what to do. It's a blessed Wednesday here. We alive, we made it. And y'all hear y'all. This is what we do on the Platform Sports Talk Show. If you don't know, if it's your first time watching, we've been doing this show every Wednesday night for the last 5 years. So if you don't know about it, now you know. Once again, spread the word. I'm not alone. I got my peoples with me. Up first, from the Boondocks, everybody, get the emojis going. Show some love. Yo, Boo.
Hey, what's up? Happy Wednesday.
Hey, to you, and good evening to our favorite fan of the Platform Sports Talk Show, Miss Williams.
Miss Williams.
Up next, she is the host of Ladies Night, but she wasn't there last week because she had to take care of some business. But she's back, folks. And she goes by Bunny. What's going on, Bunny? How you doing?
Happy Hump Day! Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Hump Day.
Hump Day.
So you saying work-wise, it was truly a hump day for you, huh?
Long day. Very long day. Last week, I'm sorry I missed Ladies Night. Hi, Miss Williams. But I wanted to do Ladies Night, but the job called. We had to do a business meeting after business hours. Go figure. So I wasn't able to make it, but I'm glad to be back with you all.
Man, it's a pleasure to have you back. And man, last week was definitely one of our biggest, best shows that we have done.
I would do that when I can't make it. That's messed up.
Right. But it was definitely amazing. Shouts out to you, Joe, to Annie, to Michaela, to Coach Stringer, and to the special guest, which was Miss Michelle Smallman. Joe, just tell us how you feeling. Are you still on your high? What's going on right now since that show last week?
No, it was awesome. Like I text you after the show, pretty much saying thank you for making that happen. Dream come true. To be able to get to talk to, pretty much the media sportswoman, in all of St. Louis. Obviously there's more, but she's like the main one. We listen to her on the radio all the time, see her on social media, and it was awesome to get to talk to her about the Blues, about baseball, and just to get to know her a little bit, more than just what you see on social media and hear on the radio. But yeah, it was awesome, and it's top 3 probably favorite shows so far we've done.
Yeah, I definitely agree, man. You came through, all y'all just came through and held things down for Bunny, and just definitely represented what the Platform Sports Talk Show was all about. And as Ms. Williams has on the bottom of the screen, what an awesome guest last week. And I definitely agree. Michelle Smallman definitely has some cool viewpoints from her perspective. Her being, like you said, Joe, in the media for so long and having great responses to certain people's comments or thoughts and stuff like that. It was just a very well put out show last week. So once again, salute to y'all, man, for a great job.
And a shout out to St. Annie off on her last show with the great guest and a great show. So
yeah. So
I'm so upset we didn't get you and Annie to riff off one last time.
Right.
I'm sorry. Blame it on my manager. Next time I'll tell them they better get on the show with me or something. So I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Business meeting and still do the show,
All right, Miss Williams said she had such great insights into both sports and broadcasting. She definitely did. And as Bunny was bringing up, yes, last Wednesday was the last show for Annie. She let us know after the show. I guess she didn't want to have the celebration, and because I'm gonna have a whole highlight reel for her now. But incredible job for her and her contributions over the many years. She's been a day one supporter of the Platform Sports Talk Show, and now she's off to bigger and better things in her career. So thank you once again, Annie, for an incredible job and what you brought to not just to Ladies Night, but to the platform Sports Talk Show. Speaking of which, Bunny, why don't you let everybody know how they can follow us real quick?
So, all my good people, listeners out there, and viewers, of course, you can always tune in on our Facebook page. We also, of course, have an Instagram page. And we are streaming our archive shows on the Roku channel. And last but not, oh, wait, sorry, YouTube. Forgot about our famous YouTube
Because they
subscribe.
gotta subscribe and click on that what?
Good old fashioned bell, baby.
Because anytime we go live, Joe,
You will be notified.
there you go.
And
Keep on
shout out to
going.
the Hot 365 listeners as well. Hot 365 Radio.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
yeah, they're hot. They hot like it is hot outside right now. Plus, ladies' night, first Wednesday of the month, and the man cave, last Wednesday of the month.
Yes,
There
and
you have
shouts out to the Man Cave. They had an incredible show as well. 2 weeks ago, they had Jonathan Owens. He's a football player for the Houston Texans. He's from St. Louis. He went to CBC High School, and I think there's one more thing about him. He's the fiance of the great Olympian Simone Biles, and it was just an incredible interview. So, Man Cave, Ladies Night, y'all showing off, man. I might would have stopped doing the main show now.
Of course
Hold on
not.
now.
No, you gotta get the flavor here too now. No.
All this wouldn't happen without you, though, Fred. You
That's
make all the
it.
awesome special guests, happen. So we got to thank you, and so do the listeners, because they get to watch something awesome every week.
That is correct. The host with the most. The man is bringing it every week for us.
Hold on, wait.
He's not crying. He's not crying. He's just over there cutting onions.
Y'all are too kind, but no, it's definitely a privilege, man. And this is what it's all about, man. It's just about showing love, us debating, having fun, interviewing people, getting to know their stories, and just bringing so much out for people to enjoy. So thank y'all just for being part of my vision and believing in me and trusting in me as well. As Bunny brought up earlier, Hot 365 Radio, you can download the app. It doesn't matter if you have an iPhone, if you have an Android, or you can go on the website, put in hot365radio.com, and you can hear us in crystal clear HD. Ladies, let's get right into it. Oh, and by the way, by this time tomorrow, I'll be with the wifey and friends in Miami. I'm excited, celebrating one of her closest friends' birthdays, 40th birthday. So my wife gave me approval to wear Hoochie Daddy shorts out there in Miami. So
About to get Liddy.
it's going down. But speaking of going down, ladies, y'all already know what's happening. You now have my attention. What sports stories has your attention? Bunny, what you got for us?
Ooh, there we go. So you guys may have touched this last week. No, you actually did. So sorry if I'm bringing up something old. That NBA free agency had me like, damn, I'm in the wrong profession. I need to be over there putting it out, risking it all to
not risking it all.
Player to marry me with them coins they getting, boy. They securing that bag 2 times over. And the spinoff to that though also had my attention is the NBA Summer League.
Right.
The rookies been balling out there, and unfortunately, I heard AJ Liddell, some from Belleville West, injured, done for the upcoming season. Like, damn, So 2 basketball stories spin off of one that has my attention.
And to stay with the NBA free agency real quick, Bunny, it's one of our one of the segments that they had was chasing championships or paper. What are your thoughts in regards to that? Is it more important, put yourself in the athlete's shoes? Let's say, like, for instance, Bradley Beal. He just signed a huge deal that's gonna set him up for the rest of his life, his kids' lives, their kids' life. I mean, from eternity, you know what I'm saying? But he's gonna be staying with the team like the Wizards that is not looking too good right now in regards to having a chance to win a championship anytime soon. Of course, things could change depending on management or whatever. But he took the money route, except for taking more of a chance to go to a different team, like maybe the Lakers or going to maybe the Maverick, someone that was already in the playoffs.
A true contender.
Right.
I see both aspects. I mean, we can take it back to the 90s when you had players that after so many years of not getting a ring, now the payments weren't the same. They would get on a team right at the end of their career just to secure, say, I got a ring. And then we got Hall of Famers who don't have rings. But that was 90s. The mindset and all that money is different compared to now. And so I think some players may take that same mindset. Let me get all that money I can up front. I don't know what's going to happen to my career if I can play again. So let me secure the money now. If I'm still around, let me go try to team up with somebody, get a ring before my career is over. And then you got a few that I'm going to try to stick it out. Let me keep playing same team, or at least keep playing and not take as much money so that upper management can put some players around me to get a ring. So I see both sides. I see both going on, but the generation mindset is more different. People would rather secure that bag, to me, over securing that ring. Kind of opposite of what women go through. Women like, I want to secure that ring, and if I get money along the way, that's good too.
Yeah, that was definitely one of it was a great topic to discuss last week for the ladies. Y'all definitely had a great round table about that. So, Joe, what has your attention?
So I should have brought down the other hat because there's actually two teams in baseball right now. But the O's.
I'm about to bring them up too.
Oh no! We're gonna call them the
Oh
no's. Call them the oh no's.
They're doing things. They won 9 straight. The other one I should have brought down is the Mariners.
Yes.
They had a doubleheader today against the Nats, and so they were up 2-0 last time I checked. And if that's the case, then they'll be winning 10 straight. And I got the O's game on right now, playing in Wrigley, so there's a good chance they could get to 10 as well. Whenever I did my predictions, I think I did have the Mariners as a wild card team. They have a lot of young talent, very fun to watch. They started off kind of cold, but obviously 10 straight right now, that's nothing to not talk about. The O's, since 2016 in the wild card game, Buck Showalter made a bad move, and then they kind of suck since then. But they got some good young talent right now. Adley Rutschman, he's a stud. He's their rookie catcher. And oddly enough, in Camden Yards, even with the left field wall back, their pitchers since, I can't remember what it was like since June 9th, like a 2.5 ERA that leads all of baseball, their starting pitchers. So, and they play the AL East, so every team in the AL East right now is 500 or better. So
every team.
Yeah, which is insane. So I'm not saying the O's are going to make the playoffs, but with the extended playoffs, they're only like 2.5 games out. So I don't think they're going to be buyers, but I don't think they're going to be sellers either. But it's been really fun to see Camden Yards rocking and rolling again, because whenever that place is a good team and in the playoffs, it's really fun. So those are my two teams that have my attention right now. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, those are two great takes right there. I was watching. I'm like, wait a minute, 9 in a row, Mariners, and
I still see the Orioles are no. I'm just saying.
Hey, they have a lot of good young talent that's coming up, and that's what happens.
Only go so far with inexperience. Now, you did mention that they may get that extended wild card spot, but that means the rest of the AL East can't do anything, and there still be some teams that can make some moves as well.
Well, they're like only a game behind the Rays, I think. The Rays haven't been playing good ball. Wander Franco, their big star, he's out for the year. Kevin Kiermaier, probably the most beautiful man I've ever laid eyes on, he's out for the year. They just have
the most beautiful man you ever laid eyes on?
Look up Kevin Kiermaier. It's the eyes.
Spell it for me. Last name.
Shoot, it's like K-I-E. Just if you just type in Kevin K, I'm pretty positive it'll pop up, but he's gorgeous. Okay. But yeah, I mean, they could finish 4th this year. The Blue Jays, they fired their head coach, their manager this morning.
Yeah, what happened? Did y'all see that coming?
I did not see it coming. They've been not playing great ball right now, but I mean, with that roster, I don't think there's any reason for him to get fired. I think they're like 2-8 right now in their last 10, but so are the Cardinals, or so were the Cardinals. I just kind of think that's a rush move right before the All-Star break, and he just got an extension like a week before the season started, so he's good until next year. So
remember
I don't know.
Last week I mentioned, or not last week, a couple weeks ago, I said, "What's up?" when they fired 2 other managers. I'm like, we're doing this in the beginning of the season now, and it's too early. Come on, it's 2 teams. They fired their managers.
Phillies
the
and
Phillies.
the Angels.
Yeah, and y'all just like, no, y'all saw it coming. I'm like, but winning baseball, I've seen that happen in NBA, not NFL, but technically still kind of beginning of the season at that time to fire managers. Like,
yeah, and it's weird to see 3 of them fired, before the All-Star break. It's definitely different. But I don't know. I guess the front office knows maybe there was something going on in the clubhouse. But I mean, I follow a lot of these pages on social media, and like everyone seemed to love Charlie Montoya. So, we'll see what happens. I'm sure he'll come out sooner or later, just like with the whole Mike Schilt thing. So we'll see.
Kiermaier, I see him. You like him because of those eyes. He's mesmerized you with those eyes.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking at him like, wow, okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The eyes, he mesmerized you with them eyes, girl.
He's got like the perfect chiseled jawline. He's beautiful. Okay. Oh my goodness.
There you go.
There he is.
That's it.
Okay.
She's mesmerized. Oh wow.
Like
B, watch out, B. I'm just saying. No.
Oh no, he probably agrees, but
not agrees.
Hey, he ain't afraid to say if a man's attractive or not. Kevin Kiermaier's an attractive guy. And if you don't think so, Fred, you're lying. And
I ain't in this. Hey.
Okay. Well, anyways, Kevin Kiermaier and Chris Bryant, they're beautiful. What's on your mind, Fred?
It reminds me of a Jamie Foxx comedy show. He was talking about, special, and he was talking about Prince. And he said, "Don't look in the man's eyes."
And
y'all watch that Jamie Foxx comedy special, y'all know what I'm talking about. But so mine, the lady on the right is Kelsey Plum from the WNBA, plays for the Phoenix Mercury. And on the left, we all know who Steph Curry is. The object on the left is the Kia MVP award trophy given at the All-Star game. On the right is also a MVP award trophy given to the MVP of the All-Star game. But it's something about this that
one of these things don't look like the other.
It kind of stands out. Kind of stands out, doesn't it?
One of these things don't look like the other, though, but they're the same award.
So, and Miss Williams says Kevin is attractive.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
So yeah, the WNBA has been around for over 25 years.
That is correct.
You would think that they should have a better trophy than that being a third of the size of the men's NBA All-Star Game trophy. Am I missing something here?
Of course not. You're not missing anything. You see how they view a woman's sport, and you see how they view the value of the sport by doing this. We already know about the pay, so we don't have to touch on that subject. But this is a small thing to whoever the powers that be thinks, and this is actually a big thing. But you're not missing anything. No. It just goes to show you why the sport is in a situation where we are talking about the pay inequality compared to the men, why you have to send women overseas to make more money, the Brittany Griner situation, and then here we are.
Yeah.
They need some quick PR control to fix this.
I mean, there's no way. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to say, we kind of touched on this topic a little bit last week when we talked about Brittany Griner. It's just how it is. Like it's sad that we say that and it's not changing. But, yeah. And I feel like for basketball, NBA, I know it's WNBA, NBA, it's two different things, but I feel like we talk up about basketball all the time, and their commissioner, everyone loves him. They do things pretty much for, the right way, but then we still have issues like this. We're constantly talking about equal pay, and now you got, You know, it might seem as little as something as a trophy resemblance, but I mean, to her, it might seem like a big deal. Like, hey, I got the same thing that Steph got, but mine's this puny little sippy cup looking thing. So
Right.
I
So
don't know. We talked about it last week too. It's the same stuff.
So someone found that trophy on Amazon, and they said that trophy is like $18.
No, please tell me they're lying. Please tell me, especially now with the Amazon Prime sale going on. Please don't tell me somebody it really did that. I don't believe that the NBA, especially the spinoff with the powers that be for the WNBA, the one who makes those business decisions, did not go and spend their time on Amazon. I know they did.
Steph's looks like the Fortress of Solitude, and
Right. So Ms. Williams says, I've seen high school trophies larger than that. I have too.
Facts.
And then she says it's all a matter of respect. Women's sports don't get the respect that men's sports do, even when the women's teams do better, i.e. U.S. soccer teams. So definitely
facts on facts.
Definitely correct. So that is our first segment. You now have my attention. Hope y'all enjoyed it. But now it is time to debut something here on the Platform Sports Talk Show. And this is, here we go, the first annual Joe Knows Award Show. So what that means is, this is in regards to the St. Louis Blues. They, of course, was ousted probably about a month back now in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And we meant to have this segment a while back, but, things happen. It's this part of the show life. You know how it is. But tonight is the night, and Joe is going to go ahead and give out her awards to a few Blues players. So, Joe, the floor is yours.
Okay, so like I said, this was supposed to happen probably like a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. So I don't remember what I originally had written down, but I thought of some new ones for you guys. So for the MVP, I'm still going to go Vladimir Tarasenko. I know for a fact that he was my MVP on my last list. The guy had 82 points after saying he wants to leave. And I'm sure we'll talk about that later on in the show as well. But he showed that he was healthy. He's still a good goal scorer. Rookie of the year, I'm going, it's so hard to say, Torpchenko. We call him Thorps. He's going to be hurt, I think, beginning of the next year. But he just showed he's a big body, could rough you up against the boards, and he can score a little bit as well. Goalie of the year of the regular season was Billy Husso. If we're doing a playoffs award, then it's obviously Benner, but Benner was not good during the regular season. Defenseman of the year, I'm going to go Justin Falk. He whenever he first got traded over here, it was kind of weird because it was like a couple days before the 2019 banner raising ceremony, opening night. He didn't have a good plus-minus year. People want to look at that. But
man, he was getting ridiculed too, so bad.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, he was probably, besides Tarasenko, our best player on the team last year. And then I threw this one out here, and we can give him a shout-out as well. Robert Thomas getting paid. He's, he's now the highest-paid Blue ever. It's the biggest contract ever in Blues history. But I'm giving him the Most Improved award. He was always known to be a really good point getter, really fast, this and that. And, in the Stanley Cup finals, he broke his wrist, I think it was, at 19. And then the year after that, he was kind of started off slow. But this past year, he had 80-something points, and he just really shown what he could do there on the ice. And now we're going to get to see that for the next 9 years, because his contract doesn't go in place till next year. So we get him until 2031, and it's going to be awesome.
All right. So that is, once again, the first annual Joe Knows Award Show, brought to you by
Joe Knows.
I feel like it's Baywatch music or something.
He's speaking into existence. He said brought to you by, so that means somebody's going to eventually want us to be doing this for money.
Exactly. Cha-ching. I should have had that little sound effect going.
They do that on a 101. anytime they say one of their advertisements, they do the little ching.
There you
Right,
go.
right. So sticking with the Blues, Joe, there has been a lot of moves that has been made today, not just in St. Louis, but there's been some notable moves around the NHL. So why don't you go ahead and break that down for the people?
Well, I'll start with the sad news first. David Perron, EP57. He's done like 3 tours with us, and he's gone. There he is. Look at that man. It's sad. It's very sad. He's going to the old rivals of the Blues, the Detroit Red Wings, which
It's been so long since they was true rivals. I forgot about them.
Yeah, but you could probably call them. You could probably call them the Detroit Blues now because they have like 5 former Blues on their team. So I don't know. It's sad. I think this is the last time. Last year was the last time you'll see him wearing the blue note because obviously he loves St. Louis, but he's not going to come back again for a 4th time. He's come back so many times. He's shown how much he loves this city and how much he loves playing for the Blues. And I wish nothing but the best for him. So that's all the sad news. More upbeat news is Nick Leddy. We signed him again for 4 more years. If you guys realized last year after the deadline, Nick Leddy helped his team out tremendously, defensively. So we got him. If you guys remember in Game 5, I think it was, against the Bruins in 2019, whenever we tripped this guy named Akari and then David Perron scored a goal.
Right.
Well, we now have Akari on our team. So, if you can't beat them, join them, as people always say. So he's going to be a St. Louis Blue. He'll probably be a 4th liner with us and hopefully, provide some depth. And then we got Thomas Grice. I think that's how you say his last name. He's just a backup goalie. Some fans are a little upset that it wasn't a bigger name, but I mean, Thomas Grice has been in the league for a bit. His numbers didn't look great last year, but he played for a bad Red Wings team, so it makes sense. But all around the league, these guys are getting a lot of 8-year extensions and a lot of 7-year contracts. So unless Army has something really sneaky up his sleeve, I don't see us doing anything super, super major, especially if you were only going to keep one of Perron and Tarasenko. Perron's gone, so the whole Tarasenko thing.
We are again a whole nother season talking about this.
He's the MVP of last year, but he still wants to leave. So I'm like, how do I feel about that? It sucks. Like, why do you want to leave again? So we'll see what happens. He showed that he was healthy, and he's, like I said earlier, that he's still an offensive threat. But I don't know if you're going to see him move, and we'll have him for 1 more year, and then after that, his contract's gone, and he's gone.
And I know that a lot of people, feel like this right now about Perron. But Doug Armstrong has a proven record of doing certain moves for a certain reason. He sees long term, and this is why I like him, of course, over another GM that we may have a little discussion about, our president of operations that you might discuss later on.
Mm-hmm.
But he does not make emotional moves. He makes moves that's best for business. Someone brought up earlier on the radio, could be the possibility because of age and his concussions that could be a factor, or could it be this, could it be that? The main thing is it was just about the cap. If the Blues had enough money in the cap, I believe that he would have been signed. But because of the cap, and then you trying to still get these other pieces that Joe brought up today, getting to Robert Thomas and having him, who's going to be probably one of the best centers of all of hockey over the next 8 years, we're going to have him, or getting a Nick Leddy for 4 more years, and getting this other piece that we got today. What's his name? Neil McCall or something like that.
It's Akari.
Yeah. So Doug Armstrong is doing what's best for the team to continue to be a playoff team. I know people like yourself, Joe, and Michelle Smallman. I know she probably had a whole fit on social media, because you have the emotional tie to a certain player, but Doug Armstrong is all about what's best for business, what's best for getting this team to continue to
Yeah.
be in that playoff window.
Because he has to make dollars and cents, plus
Right.
get the players to make them money.
And the same token, I feel because he's such a shrewd businessman, which I love, I feel like he's setting things up for a bigger reward. Some guy that plays on Calgary, whose father played.
But you talking about an upcoming season? Because Joe says she don't see any more moves about to happen.
Hold on.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why I said if Army has something up his sleeve, it's gonna be via trade. You know how when we got Ryan O'Reilly,
right?
We even traded for Braden Shen a couple of years ago. But before I get to that, I do want to say I've only had one negative thing to say about Army, and that is I think a lot of things that are handcuffing us right now with the cap is he gave a big contract to Scandella. And no one wants his contract because he's not good.
But that's what y'all felt about Bennington. They think he gave him too much money and nobody wanted his contract. We're trying to ship him off at the trade deadline. But thank God he kept him.
Yeah, this one's just completely different. I don't really know how to explain it. No one's gonna want Marcus Scandella's contract. It's gonna be we're gonna have to keep him and hope and pray that he ends up playing better, and that's that. But with what Fred was kind of talking about is there's this guy named Matthew Tkachuk, Keith Tkachuk's son.
I was about to ask, you related to Keith Tkachuk? Okay.
Yeah, it's his son. He's got two sons in the NHL, Matthew and Brady. And Matthew Tkachuk, he's fiery. He's a goal scorer. He's a leader. He's very fun to watch, and he's also like that whole family's like best friends with Robert Thomas. Robert Thomas lived with that family in St. Louis when he came over to the Blues. And apparently Robert Thomas is with the Tkachuk family in Boston this week. So hopefully he's like whispering in his ear or something like that. But a lot of good things would have to happen in order for that to happen. So again, none of us ever saw Ryan O'Reilly come into the Blues and then us win a Stanley Cup. So fingers crossed that happens. But it would be freaking awesome.
Yeah, it would. And like I said, Doug Armstrong, he always be like 2 steps ahead while we like, oh no, why he do that? What's going on? Then the next day you like, man, that's my dog, man. He be making them, stuff like that. So
let me ask you this. Do you think we can use Charlie Army's approach, even his mind, and let it zap over to Mo from the Cardinals? Maybe that can happen. No?
We hope that they can one day just sit in a room and Armstrong can just kind of like instill, do like on the Avengers movie or whatever, one of the Marvel movies. They just transfer the power from one person to another and be like, this is how you do it. That's what they need. Seriously.
The sad and crazy thing is that Army makes these types of moves happen
during seasons
with no money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
The Cardinals can sit here and
out of no way. Sound like Jesus, huh? But he makes out of no way.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like Mo and DeWitt, they could talk about finances all they want. They got the money. Any MLB, the Tampa Bay Rays, they don't want to spend money, but they got the money. They can do it if they really wanted to, but they don't want to because they'd rather pocket it. So.
Can I ask you one question? Not directly with this, but you talk about the way he has the money, but he doesn't want to open up his wallet. I always say that. And the Rays, you said they don't want to spend.
Or Bunny, I'm sorry. Or they do, but they misuse the money for the wrong person. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. That's a good point. So it's only certain GMs and owners that's doing this. Let's specifically talk MLB right now. It's only certain ones that are doing this. So because of all the stuff we have access to online and all this mass information and people get hacked all the time, why haven't the owners' books been hacked? Like, why haven't we got leaked? You heard about the leak the other day with our president's wife and stepson's issues that got leaked out. Why aren't the books for these owners? And we can specify MLB owners being leaked out. Because I'm really curious, if they have the money, don't want to spend it, how much money do they have? It's just got to make the sense of not wanting to win and you have the money. Because when you win, you get more money. So make it make sense to me. Maybe y'all know.
I can't make it make sense. I really can't, Ronnie. Like, It's depressing, you know, like for being us as Cardinals fans, being such a historic organization. We've won a lot of rings. You know, everyone, 11-11. Like we have a lot of history, rich history. And for them to always take the cheap way out, and like Fred said, you know, spend money the wrong way. Name one free agent we spent money on this past year that has panned out.
Still, I blinked him. I'm looking like.
I'm trying to sit here. McFarland, 7-something ERA. Drew Verhagen, he's probably in the 6s, and he just came back.
Just say no pitcher for this past offseason. No pitcher.
Yeah, Steven Matz, he was hurt, and he wasn't pitching great to begin with, so we'll see what he's like this week. You got Corey Dickerson. He's showing a little bit of something these last 2 games, but before that, he wasn't doing anything. Who else did we sign? I'm trying to remember. I mean, that Albert Pujols guy's he's playing pretty good right now, but I don't know. It's just all this money that we spent. Like, did you guys know that Corey Dickerson got $1 million less than Jock Peterson got? And Jock Peterson's going to be started in the All-Star game next week.
Right.
You know, it's just things like that. They just don't know how to. Obviously, they know what talent is, but I just feel like penny pension. Just they're penny pension all the time, and I just don't.
They're penny pension the wrong way.
All right, so Bunny, this is an article from Benjamin Hockman, who's been a guest on our show a couple of times now.
Shout out to Ben.
So we asked recently to Mo in regards to making that big splash move. You know, maybe like trading to get like a guy like I don't know Bryce Harper at the time, or maybe if Mike Trout was an option, or any other high big top guy in which you may have to trade off some pieces to get him. So this was his response recently. We're not going to. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Well, we're not going to blow up our model of how we think about player acquisition. We certainly understand this is a really fun team to be around. Obviously, we're coming off of a tough road trip. Just talking about the trip that went to Atlanta and in Philadelphia. But we still believe as we get healthier, there are some things we could augment that will make us stronger. So that's how we'll improve. So the problem is you're still going back to this 2011 and 10 mindset of making transitions or trying to promote from within or trust what you have in the system and not being bold enough to say, you know what, Juan Soto was out there and we have an opportunity to trade maybe, one of our top 20 prospects because we want to save that prospect and hope that he turns out to be great. To find out later on he's not as great as we thought he was, and now a different team went on and got that key acquisition. We're too stuck in our old ways to make splashes, and like that's been like the model now. It's like, well, we're going to sit back until we can find a diamond in the rough and try to find trying to find a Drew Verhagen and stuff like that, and then it bites us in the butt because. They're not doing what we expect or hope for them to do. And that's why we get mad. So it's the whole model. I'm not sure if it's Mozeliak by himself or if it's, from the Witt family, but whatever's going on is just not it no more for this organization. I mean, bottom line,
evolved with the times. Like
exactly.
Evolved. Management has evolved too.
They have it. And that's what I've said before is, like when me and my brother, we had this conversation a lot, and he thinks, like at the end of the day, he kind of thinks like that. And I've told him, I was like, all right, you'd be perfect for this front office because he's kind of like, just get in there, play good enough baseball to get in the playoffs, and we'll see what happens. That happened 10 years ago, though. That's the thing. Like when you see these teams in the playoffs and make it in the World Series, they're super teams, and they make the moves to get there. The Braves.
And it's not an overnight move either, Jobo, because a lot of times it takes a previous year or two of those transactions, then you finally come and see them in the World Series.
Yeah, and it's like the thing that kills me is what I don't understand is let's just like look back at the Braves team last year.
Perfect example.
They weren't that good of a team last year. They weren't 500 until late August. But I can never say his name. Alex Anthopoulos, their GM. He went out there and he got 3 freaking outfielders. he got out there and he bolstered the bullpen. He got bats, like he made the team better because he believed that they were going to make it far. And I know it was either last year or the year before. They made a trade and they're interviewing Freddie Freeman, and they asked him, does that show you that the front office believes in you guys and knows that you guys can do this? And long story short, yeah. That makes us feel great and that they believe in us. Like if you tell me right now, the deadline, and we don't make a significant move, do you think Nolan Arenado's be happy about that?
Heck no.
No. And I still don't think he's going to opt out because he's making a shit ton of money. He ain't going to opt out of that. But I'm just saying, like, he's going to be pissed off. Yachty's going to be pissed off. I think Waino, he might even be a little pissed off. Like, you got all these guys here that they have some of the pieces, that they just add one or two things. But
like I said, we shall see. Trade deadline. I said always, you see the real Cardinals team after the All-Star break. That's when they're showing up. You're going to see what they are. They're going to be competitive or they're going to just fall off. So we shall see. And then what? Trade deadline should be in like 2 weeks, right?
It's like 2.5 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Hey. Put it up. Make your trades. Come on, Mo. Make your trade. Put it up.
And if I was Goldschmidt, I'd be saying this. Oh, come on.
He probably said that every time one of them moves is made in the past few weeks, and like, here we go again. They not doing the move he needs. So he probably said that all the time.
Miss Williams says she thinks you're right, Bunny. And shouts out to one of he's the new panelist on the Man Cave, the legendary Craig Black. Says,
Craig Black, what up? Shout out to Craig Black. I know he's gonna make the plug on Man Cave, but he's bringing back the back to school haircut event next month in August in the St. Louis area. So shout out to him bringing that back.
Yes. He'll be in the loop. Got something special for y'all next month, y'all. Stay tuned. Got something special for y'all. Woo! All right, so let's go ahead and get into the MLB All-Stars. It's been announced. Now, what I have here is the original list. So, of course, there's been some changes due to injuries. But, Joe, why don't you go let everybody know about the AL and the NL All-Star rosters? Okay.
Yeah, so these teams are just so stacked. It's funny to look at it. So Alejandro Kirk, I don't know if like a normal baseball fan would know who that is, but he's the catcher for the Blue Jays. He's this little chunky guy, but he's been smashing the ball. Obviously Vladdy out of Toronto as well. My guy Jose Altuve started at second base, and I probably would agree that I guarantee Dodgers fans voted for him so they could boo him, but it's whatever. Tim Anderson at short. We got Rafi Devers at third, which he's been kind of hurt here and there, so they might switch him out. Aaron Judge, obviously, this guy's on pace to break that 61 home runs in pinstripes. The greatest player of our generation, Mike Trout, Giancarlo Stanton, and then Shohei Ohtani, which I'm not saying this because I got my orange glasses on. Even though he's hurt right now, Yordan Alvarez has better numbers than Shohei Ohtani. And then the pitchers, you got Justin Verlander, Alek Manoah, Martin Perez, Shane McClanahan, who's got like a 1.3 something ERA, Framber Valdez, Paul Blackburn, Garrett Cole, Shohei Ohtani again, and that's guy. Which again, I think it's silly that he was voted in to be the DH because we all knew he was going to be there to pitch anyways. And then Nestor Cortez. And the reserves, it's really cool seeing some of the videos. I don't know if you've seen that or not, Fred, but Jose Trevino, he was with the Rangers, and then he was traded to the Twins, and then traded over to the Yankees, all within the matter of like 48 hours before the spring training started. But he's now a catcher for the Yankees, grew up a Yankees fan, and he's going to be a reserve. And it was a really cool video to see Brett Boone tell him that he's going to be going to the All-Star game. You got J. Ram, Miggy Cabrera, Xander Bogaerts, Luis Arraez, and Andres Jimenez. My guy George Springer, Byron Buxton, Andrew Benintendi, Kyle Tucker, Yordan, and Julio Rodriguez. And then you got some nasty relievers with Clay Holmes, Emmanuel Clase, Gregory Soto, and Jorge Lopez of the Baltimore Orioles. And then for the National League, it's really cool. We're gonna have so Bryce Harper was voted in as the DH, but he's hurt with a broken hand or finger, I think it is. So his brother William Contreras is going to be starting at DH, and Wilson Contreras is catching. And that's the first time that's happened in like 30 or 40 years. So that's
Yeah, I think
awesome.
they said since the Alomar brothers.
Yeah. Like there's been brothers that have both been in the All-Star game together, but this is the first time. Yeah, they started. But we got our guy Goldie starting at first. Jazz Chisholm at second. Trey Turner at short, Manny Machado at third, Acuna Jr., Mookie Betts, Jack Peterson out in the outfield. And then for the starters, I think it's going to be Kershaw that starts for nostalgia reasons.
Right.
But I think it needs to be Sandy that does it because he's been unbelievable this year. Tony Gonsolin, he's the pitcher for the Dodgers tonight. Corbin Burns, Luis Castillo, Max Fried, Joe Musgrove. We got Nato, Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, Travis d'Arnaud, CJ Crone, Dansby, and our guy Albert, which I guess we should have said earlier. Albert and Miggy, it's a commissioner's vote, I think they called it. So they're not taking anyone's spot. Some people get mad about that. Then you got Juan Soto, Kyle Schwarber, Starlin Marte, Ian Happ, and then I think our relievers are better. But you got Edwin Diaz, Josh Hader, Ryan Helsley, David Bednar, and Joe Mantiply, which all these guys have been absolutely untouchable this year.
And because we are from the Lou, we got to represent like this. So we have 4 All-Stars from the Lou. Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, Ryan Helsley, probably like the best pitcher or second best, maybe behind Edwin Diaz right now in the game. Or should I say that in the National League, definitely. Then, of course, in the middle, we have Pujols, as Joe brought up earlier, the commissioner exempt, him and Miguel Cabrera both going as the veterans, as the old guys. So last season for Pujols, and he is in the All-Star game. So definitely some excitement going on. We're hoping that by the end of this show or before y'all leave the next few minutes that we'll know the final contestant from the home run derby. But I do know that right now Pujols is in it. And let me pull up the rest of the list real quick. So we have Kyle Schwarber, Juan Soto, Acuna Jr. going for the 3-peat. Pete Alonso recently just announced Julio Rodriguez, another guy that you like, Joe. But
who's he play for?
Mariners. If Albert doesn't win, which he's not going to, he's going to be gassed immediately. I want J-Rod, the J-Rod show. He's so fun to watch. So I'm cheering for him.
Okay.
And then it was just announced from Cleveland that Ramirez, he'll be
J-Ram.
What's his first name?
Jose. They call him J-Ram.
Yeah, Jose.
J-Ram.
He's a stud.
So we're waiting on one more person. Joe brought up earlier. She's hoping that it's Giancarlo Stanton. I ain't said Mike Stanton a long time, but anyway, Carlos Stanton, and he did say he wanted to be it. He wanted to be in it if he was asked. So we'll see. But the home run derby looks pretty
competitive.
Yeah. So I look forward to it. So up next, another new addition to the platform sports talk show. I just want to be creative and bring something that's going to have the people enjoy, outside of our normal conversations and the guests. But I want to bring a fun segment. So I call this role play. So what this is that one person is going to ask another person as if you're in the media, and you're going to ask the other person, and they're going to portray that athlete or a coach or a GM, whatever sports figure that person is. And here's the thing. Is that you're going to answer like them, but you're going to spin it in regards to how you would say it, in regards to, for instance, I asked Joe a question about a certain player. She'll, of course, be from that person's point of view, but she'll give it her way of answering the question, not how they would normally answer it. So with that being said, we're going to have some fun with this, people. Enjoy it. Joe, you are Mike Trout.
Best in the biz. All right.
So, Mike Trout, you have had an incredible career. About 11 years now in the game, playing for the Angels, but you have only had one playoff appearance. Also, a huge complaint is people say they don't see you enough because of the team that you play with. And now you have Shohei Ohtani, in which people are even though they say you are the best, but they're saying that Shohei is right there with you. What are your thoughts in regards to your time in Anaheim? Do you see yourself staying with that team?
Oh man, this is a lot. Oh man, I love Anaheim first and foremost. That's why I extended my contract to be here for the long haul. I do love Shohei Ohtani. I need to do this as myself though. Hold on, because Mike Trout, I know how he would say it. How would Jopo say it? Shoot. All right. Well, I still think I'm the best in the league, Mr.
Hey.
Saunders, Mr. Smooth. Thank you for asking that. And as for with our team never getting any TV time and people not knowing who I am, I blame our front office for that. They have all the money, they spend the money, but they don't spend it on the right people. And we need help out here in Anaheim because I want to get back to October because I want to win a damn ring.
Okay, way to go, Joe. She held that down. Wait a minute. Let me go ahead and get it together first. Good job, Joe. You held that down. So, Joe, you're the media. Bunny is up next.
Oh boy.
Bunny Jobo from the Athletic here. Quick question for you. You're Matt Carpenter, by the way. So I said Bunny. But anyways, first off, Matt, I would like to say I love the lettuce on your lip. It fits you very well. But you've been seeing the ball so well lately and driving it all over the field. For those who thought your career was over, what would you like to say to them now?
So, I feel good swinging the bat again. I'm trying to do the impersonation here. I'm trying. I just, this is hard because you know how I feel about them. So I'm trying.
You're doing good.
Oh gosh. So yeah, for those that say that my career was over, I had a good run in my previous teams, but I feel I'm good. I'm glad I'm here with New York and fudge. I'm trying not to lie. It's so hard.
Don't forget, spin it your way.
Oh no, because I'm sitting there like, Matt Carpenter knows. Okay. So yeah, I had a good run with my previous team, but I'm here affiliated and not affiliated. I'm here settled with the Yankees, and I'm glad to be. I'm glad to be part of this team and what we can do, especially what I bring to the table because I'm really good. I made some adjustments and I fit good with this team. I'm making my lips say this. This is so hard because you don't. But anyway, Joe, you set me up. You did. Because I want to say dude, you fit really good. I'm sorry because I'm trying to get my blood pressure up. Yeah, he's done a little bit better with the Yankees, but
it's that short porch, baby. It's that short porch.
Right.
After we told you in St. Louis before you left out of here that you should have adjusted your game once you fell off, you didn't. Now all of a sudden you're thinking yeah.
As soon as Fred said I had you, and I was like, who should I ask a question to?
And of course, Fred is going to sit there and have a picture of him smiling yeah, man, yeah. I've always been doing this for the teams.
He's hitting dingers all over the place. Of course he's smiling.
Right. Shouts out to DJ. Shouts out to DJ Big Boss. Like he said right here on the comment, been a long time. He's been he followed us years back when we first started the show, and I ain't seen him on social media in a long time. So shouts out to you, DJ Big Boss.
DJ Big Boss.
Doing his I think he's really big into the betting and everything, betting on games and stuff. So kind of like how Anthony Stalter is, doing different betting and everything.
Okay, DJ Big Boss, we need to ask him for his predictions. Who we gonna bet on for this All-Star game and who's gonna win the home run derby?
Right. All right, so Bunny.
So Joe, I was gonna steal yours, but I said I can spin it off and I can save it.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know the player Paul George. He plays for the Clippers now. PG-13 is his nickname. So Fred has more of a not a love-hate relationship, but definitely ain't all love towards him. So good old PG-13. How do you feel that your team is going to do for the upcoming year, and how do you think you're going to help make this team better?
Man, first of all, I just want to say we got the best team in LA now. I don't care what no one says. Forget the Lakers. It's all about Clipper Nation. Clip Nation, what's up? We here. We ready. I got my boy Kawhi Leonard. He's back and healthy. We got John Wall. He's ready to go. He's hungry. And myself, me and my cornrows, we're going to hold things down in LA. I'm going to show everybody why we are going to be the number one seed. Forget them Warriors. We're going to show them that we can win this whole thing before we open up our own arena in a couple of years. We're going to shut down Laker Nation, and I'm going to show everybody why I should be considered one of the best players in the game of basketball. Holla at your boy.
That was good. And I was trying to mute, but I didn't hit the button in time. So I'm like, y'all gonna hear my laugh.
No, it's fine. It makes it better with the laugh.
Because everything is else I did do. Oh my gosh, it's horrible. That was a great job, though. Great job. Great impersonation.
I love how you say that you're the best team now in LA. Or LA, California, and you just mentioned the Warriors. You didn't even mention the
right.
Really?
All right, so special one. Go ahead, Joe.
All right. Oh, there's the pubs. Thank you.
Shouts out to B. What up, B?
Hey,
All right, so I had to get this one down because, as you guys heard earlier, Fred's got a very good Mo impression. All right, there he is. All right, Mr. Bowtie himself. All right, so Mo, we have seen in the last couple of years some pretty glaring needs for this roster. And even with guys coming off the IL, you can say there are still some big needs. Do you truly think this roster you constructed is a World Series contender?
Well, first of all, I just want to say y'all have an incredible show here on the platform, Sports Talk Show. I've been on many shows before in the past, but this show just definitely gets me. But anyway, to answer your question, which is a great question, Joe, I feel that right now this team is not measured up to what I had expectations to. I thought coming into the season that we'll be in a much better situation in the standings, but right now we're about, I'll say 2 games behind Milwaukee at this point, maybe 1.5. We should be better. And Ali Momo did say that this should be a World Series team or bust. And I truly thought that we had the team right now. And obviously I've been wrong. And I need to make some better acquisitions. So when I get done with this interview, I'm going to talk to DeWitt and see if it can make some big splashes because Call Nation needs it. Pujols needs it. Molina, I know he's in Puerto Rico. He needs it. Arenado, he needs it. St. Louis needs it. And I'm going to do the best job that I can as your president of baseball operations.
Over the house, in his ass.
And then, a lot of that was BS because I'm sitting like, Mo, Arnold won't say this is a bust if y'all make the World Series because he knew going to the season that roster wasn't World Series talented. He can't.
Now, Mo didn't say that. Ali said that.
Right.
But, shoot, that was good. I liked it.
Thank you. So
shout out for Mo giving the platform a shout out.
Yeah,
shout out for that.
Man, hey, I gotta say that clip, man, so we can have that as our promo on different social media sites, man. Let me clip that real quick. But no, that was definitely fun. And for those watching for the first time, this is the Platform Sports Talk Show. I am your boy Smoooth, along with over here to the side we have
Jobo.
And down below,
your girl Bunny.
Shouts out to T-Bone. He wanted to be on, but right now he's at the airport. He's going through his transition, moving from Orlando, coming back home to the Lou. So everyone say prayers up to him, and we look forward to seeing him next week. Shouts out to Stan, the host of the Man Cave. Ladies, before y'all go, Bunny, if you don't mind, do one more plug for the show. Oh, you on mute.
Sorry, guys. All right. The Platform Sports Talk Show. Please listen. We are streaming live on Facebook. We are on Instagram. And we have all our shows archived on the Roku channel. And shout out to our listeners on Hot 365 Radio. And if you don't have access to it, please go to the App Store and download the app. And last but not least, you got YouTube. You know why we love YouTube? Because you can subscribe. And when you subscribe, you got to click on that bell, baby.
Because anytime we go live, Joe,
you will be notified.
There it is. Shouts out once again to Ladies Night every first Wednesday of the month. Shouts out to the Man Cave every last Wednesday of the month. And ladies, thank y'all for y'all time, and y'all have a great rest of y'all day.
And shout out to our special guest.
Yeah,
All the for the B-side. I know Smoooth loves all the B-side guests. So.
B-side. Ain't nothing better, but y'all have a good one, y'all.
All right, you too. Thanks.
All right, y'all. So hope y'all been enjoying this. And by the way, I hope y'all, enjoying my backdrop. This photo here taken last night after Pujols hit that home run, and then Nelly and him, did the whole St. Louis thing. I say I gotta save that for my backdrop for the show tonight. But the time is here. It's that 8:00 hour, which means it's time for our special guest. I need more people to go ahead right now and share this stream to as many people as you can, because the moment is here. The time has arrived. This man here is from the Lou. He's definitely proud. Spent his childhood on the west side of St. Louis City, where he claims he developed his high-level talents in multiple sports. But this man here, 4 years, y'all, as a starter at the legendary, my alma mater, or alma mater, should I say, Vashon High School, won multiple championships. Then he went to SLU University, played all 4 years, started all 4 years as well at SLU, and held things down. He's a father. He's a businessman. He's the guy that I'm definitely looking forward to this conversation. Been wanting to book him for a while and finally made things happen. Look forward to hearing his story told. Understand he got some stories to tell, some behind the scenes, whatever it is. Tonight, this moment, looking forward to it, and I hope y'all are as well, as we now have probably one of the best, not probably, one of the best point guards ever to come out from the Lou, none other than Dwayne Polk. What's going on, brother? Oh, we can't hear you. Something going on with your audio. Let me see. Something going on with this audio. Make sure you get them right. Do a mic check for me. Nope, still can't hear you for some reason. Check your microphone. Make sure that everything is plugged in or whatever. Let me see. Sorry for the delay, everyone. Got him on the video for those listening on Hot 365 Radio. He's on the screen, but we can't hear him. So we try to get this audio together real quick. Do you have any AirPods or headphones? Let's see. Let's work on getting his audio first. Go ahead and try to unmute yourself again, and then see if your audio is going to work this time. Oh, okay. So it looks like his mic. It said your microphone isn't connected on your StreamYard. So go to your settings and look at your audio. And on the mic, you want to make sure you choose your computer mic. Yep, check your audio settings. Make sure that you have your mic on. It looks like it's saying that it's not connected. And while he's working on his audio, DJ Big Boss says, yes, sir. Holla for the good picks. Once again, DJ Big Boss, thanks for the love and for just showing up right now and supporting the Platform Sports Talk Show. Still waiting on Dwayne to get his audio together. Do you see where it has on your settings on audio and mic? What do you can you type in on the private chat what it's saying on your end? Yeah, we still can't hear you. Let's see if we can get this together. Give me 1 second, everybody. We're gonna see if we can work this out with our special guests. One moment here. Check your private chat, should be on the right side of your screen. All right, let's see. He said the mic is on. Let's find out. All right, say something now. All right, so I can tell that you unmuted, but in regards to your actual audio, the mic still isn't coming on for you. You don't get this right, y'all. We got two bald-headed brothers right now on your screen. But we're gonna make sure we get this right, y'all, because y'all got to hear the man talk. He got a story to tell. This is what I'll do. I'll play the intro real quick. I'll come right on back and get him on the show so we can make sure that he's ready to rock and roll. So give us 1 minute on the platform Sports Talk Show. Be right back. All right, everyone, we are back. Think that we may have a breakthrough. Once again, this is the Platform Sports Talk Show. I am your boy Smooth. Thanks for being patient. And we're going to see now if our special guest, Dwayne Polk, is ready. And let's see. Say something now.
Yes, sir. Can y'all hear me?
Hey, we in there. We got it.
We in there.
Welcome.
In there. We in there.
Yes. That's one thing about the V. We're going to make things happen, right?
Yeah, but we gotta have some type of controversy. If it ain't no controversy, we'll feel right being from the V. You hear me?
You already know it got to be something when you from the V, but we still rise to the top. And how you doing, bro, on this Wednesday?
I'm doing very well, man. Had a very interesting day. A lot of activity with my children, with my dog. As you can see, I'm kind of sweating a little bit. My dog got out, so I just locked him down and got him in the got him in a safe place. So if you see me sweating now, that's what's going on.
Hey, you already know we're used to sweat. We used to play at that old Vashon gym, so we used to lock and cast down, but also working up a sweat.
Oh yeah, definitely. In the pit, I think the entire city of St. Louis can attest to that, man. If one thing was gonna happen when you came down to, down on Grand, when you stepped in the pit, it's gonna be hot.
Yes,
The heat
sir.
is gonna be turned up. Coach Irons always made sure that it happened. Basketball season in winter too, so the heat. The bill for the St. Louis public schools is definitely a lot higher in the wintertime than normal, but it all came from the pit, man. So, I love that place, miss it a lot. Um, had a lot of memories down there, but the Vashon, this is what we do. We know we used to sweating and being hot and everything else. So that
Yeah.
we thrive through that.
I definitely understand where you're coming from. You're gonna definitely hit back on that more later on throughout this interview. But once again, thanks for taking some time out your day to be on the Platform Sports Talk Show. I know once again at doing the intro, I was saying I'm trying to get you on for quite a bit of time. And I think the first time we had you scheduled to be on, you were about to have surgery or something. Was that correct?
That is correct. Back in May, recently. Um, we don't get hurt. One thing is, as men, we're hard to accept when we're injured.
Tell me about it.
I'll take that back. When we're injured, we could be hurt every day, feelings hurt,
It's a whole different thing.
hands, everything else. But we're never hurt. But I did recently. I ruptured my quadricep in
Mm,
my leg, so I had surgery. Been down for a couple of months, but definitely gonna come back stronger. Didn't tear any ligaments, no ACL or anything like that, just the quadricep. So um, everybody just look out for me. I will be back. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be on that level. I don't want to get to that level, but I will be back playing. Having a lot of fun, just enjoying being on the court.
yeah. Will you say that that's been out of your whole, time of existence? That's been like your biggest setback injury wise?
Well, my junior year of high school, I actually broke my kneecap, which is a very similar injury. Same type of surgery, same procedure. Junior year, I didn't really get a chance to play at I would say at 100%. I probably was like maybe 40. Probably shouldn't have been out there, but we tough, so we usually get out there and try to do it anyway. But I did fracture my patella tendon, um, but came back senior year and it was a different story. So, of course, thrived after that. So you never know what I'm going through or what I've been through because, I've been through everything, and, with that injury just came back stronger and made me a better man, made me a better person. So, nothing going to hold me back at all.
Hey, I love it, man. So with that being said, let's get back to let's go, should I say, all the way back to your time as a child. And when would you say was the first time, or what age did you fall in love with sports?
Well, I'm gonna keep it real with the world, man, because a lot of people they know my history, but not like necessarily my childhood. I fell in love with basketball before I was born. My mother, she played at Beaumont High School,
Mm,
and we can even go back to the year I was born, 1985. My mother played at Beaumont High School. My father, he played in St. Louis Public Schools at Sodan High School. He's legendary. His name's the same, Dwayne Polk. So my father played at Sodan High School in 1985. Vashon High School played Sodan High School, which was the last time that two PHL schools were in a state championship game. I was born. That game took place in March of 2005. I was born in March of 1985. I was born in December of 1985.
mm.
At that time is when I fell in love with basketball. It was there before me. Um, my mother was, pregnant with me. My dad was playing in the state championship versus Vashon. And yeah, I could say, I was born with it. Just to keep it real, I definitely
Right,
was, man. I
right.
fell in love with it before I was even on the earth.
That's what's up, man. That's dope. And I meant to bring this up to you during the beginning part, but you are what, class of 2000 and
Class of 2004. I graduated
okay.
from Vashon class 2004.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you recall me from high school. But I graduated in 2000, so I was with Joe Sheldon, Dwight Whitfield, all them. So you was pretty much a freshman when I was a senior.
Well,
But
actually, you were graduating, and I was coming in as I was in the eighth grade when
oh,
you guys were
okay,
seniors.
my
Yep,
bad.
yeah, you
Okay,
guys
my
were
bad.
seniors. I was in eighth grade, so you were
Gotcha.
right there though. I mean, you just mentioned some legendary names,
Yeah,
man. I mean, with Joe, he's all world. We talk about the greatest players to come out of the city of St. Louis. Vashon, Joe Shelton at the top of the list.
right,
And then we talk about some of the greatest athletes to come out of Vashon. Dwight Whitfield, man. A lot of people don't mention his name when we talk about football in the St. Louis area, but Whitfield. I mean, how many people go to Michigan State?
right.
Right out of high school. That's big time, man. So you mentioned some legendary guys, and they paved the way for me for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. So did I see here that football was your favorite sport? Was that your first love as well, or you'll still say basketball was your first love, then football came?
Basketball is definitely my first love, man. Like I said, it was in me before I was even born. My mother and father, both of them are great athletes. Both of them played in college. But with the football, man, I just had a knack for it. It's one of those things that where, a lot of training and a lot of things that you can't teach while training football. I learned it at a very young age. I played for the U City Bad Boys, original Bad Boys in the building, baby.
Okay.
Coach Ash, you know, uh, so I did play for U City for the original Bad Boys. I was the quarterback.
Okay.
A lot of people who are I would say that know a lot about football, going back, not necessarily back in the days, but know a lot about football from way back when. They can attest to this that I was one of the best quarterbacks to actually come out of the JFL.
Mm,
Won back-to-back championships, so I was actually used to winning. If y'all can recall our team with the bad boys, man, we like I said, it's the bad boys. So we come out, we got the bands going, we got the music, we got the flags and everything
y'all
else.
came
And
with everything. Okay.
yeah, we did. I really enjoyed that, man. But that the bad boys, I'm a bad boy for life. I mean, that's where it started for me. It was fun. I was really good at it. Didn't practice it a lot, but I was really good at football. So it's definitely my favorite sport. That I can say is definitely like my number one sport outside of just being really good at basketball. So for
So,
sure.
for those who don't know, he's a lefty. So, you being a lefty and the quarterback, who was a guy in the NFL that maybe had looked up to or modeled your game after?
Well, you know what? To be honest, I play basketball left-handed. I'm not necessarily a lefty. I'm actually
Okay,
ambidextrous. When I play football, I'm
nice.
right-handed. I throw the ball with my right hand. I can throw it with my left hand. A lot of people don't know that. I'm very, I'm ambidextrous when it does come to sports.
Nice. Okay.
Um, I actually started out basketball. I was actually right-handed. Um, and that was kind of my secret growing up. If I was to go to dunk on somebody or to get in a tough situation where I make a layup, I would use my right hand.
Mhm.
I would definitely use my right hand, but left-handed, I shoot the ball left-handed. If I was to dunk on somebody, I would dunk on it with my left hand instead of my right, though. Uh, but I was definitely ambidextrous. But the my role model in football when I was younger, it was Keyshawn Johnson. He wasn't a
Okay.
quarterback man, but Keyshawn had a mouthpiece. He would talk to you. I mean, y'all watch him on live on sports shows now these days. He'll talk about his game, but Keyshawn Johnson was like my idol growing up in football at that time for sure. I wore number 19 in football too, so that was like my guy.
Mister, just give me the damn ball.
Just give me the damn ball. That was it. Just give me the damn ball. Make it happen. You hear me?
That's what's up, man. So, what led you, or should I say, your mom or your family to have you go to the V? Since they went to, well, your mom went to Beaumont, dad went to Sodan. So, where did the V come into play?
I mean, I'm gonna take it back. I mean, I'm be honest. That was not where I would say my mom wanted me to go to high school. Being a Beaumont graduate, she was thinking more of like educational and making sure that I was taken care of. But my parents, they did a great job, man. Even before making the decision to go to high school, they made sure that I was, understood everything about math, about English, about writing papers. Actually, growing up well before, I would even say well before middle school. A lot in middle school, I was pretty much on my own. I knew how to study. I developed really good study habits. So when it was the time for me to go to high school, my parents had no doubt that no matter where I went, that I would excel, whether it was in the classroom or being a dynamic athlete, whether it was football, basketball, or track. So I would say this decision came about in 1985 when Vashon played Sodan in the state championship game. My dad, who was playing for Coach Marvin Neals, who's a legendary coach
Mm-hmm.
who coached at Sodan and then went on to Cardinal Ritter. And Coach Irons was the head coach at Vashon in 1985. Um, and if a lot of people could recall or could go back to 1985, you would know that Sodan was beating Vashon in the state championship game early in 1985. But my dad, as a kid, he saw how Coach Irons made adjustments throughout the game. Um, Vashon ended up being victorious. And at that moment, I think my dad made a decision like, when it comes to it, my son's he's going to Vashon High School.
Mm-hmm.
So that led a lot into my decisions. My parents let me make a decision on where I want to go. Um, I went to a lot of Vashon games. I grew up on the west side of St. Louis, and Joe Shelton, who is one of my closest friends. I don't even call him my friend; I call him my brother.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in the same neighborhood as him, and the decision came about way before it was time. Joe Shelton, I'd be riding my bike in front of my grandma's house, and Joe Shelton will go walking down the street, and he like, hey, what you doing? And I was a youngster, he's at Vashon, so when I see him, I've been to the games. I'm like, man, this is Joe Shelton, like, this Joe Shelton, he the man. And he like, man, I'm gonna go to the park. You want to ride your bike up to the park? You want to come up here and play basketball with me? And I'd be like, yeah, you Joe Sheldon. Yeah, I'm coming. I'm right behind you. So I ride my bike up on the west side to the Viz. A lot of people who grew up on the west side know where the Viz is located. Joe would, he would pick me on his team. I'm just a little kid from the neighborhood. I
Right,
was just
right.
pretty much honored to be on his team, and he let me shoot all the balls. And he'd be like, "Man, y'all better guard him. Little dude's good." But when it come to game point, Joe, he taking over though. He like, man, I got to take game point. I got to take this shot to win so we can stay on the court. So my decisions came about, from my dad's experiences, being really close to Joe Sheldon growing up in the neighborhood, and I just felt like it was a really good fit for me, especially since I wanted to play basketball.
Nice. So, who would you say helped you out in regards to your basketball skills? before you went to the V?
Now, look, I don't want to get in no trouble on
Keep it
this talk
100
show.
though. Keep it
So
100.
if I don't say my mom, then I might end up on the news tomorrow. Something happened to me. You hear me?
Right. Shade
Um,
room.
yeah, my mom, she had the jump shot, man. My mom was really good. Like I said, she was a starting point guard at both my high school. Back then. So I do give a lot of credit to her. But my name is Dwayne Polk.
Hmm.
So my dad, he spent a lot of time with me. And my parents, they did have me at a young age, man. So they were still in high school. So I didn't look at that as a crutch. That was actually one of the greatest things that I would say ever happened to me was my parents were young. I grew up watching my dad play college basketball. I grew up watching my dad play, in the highest level of competition. I watched him on TV. I had my dad's jersey when he was at Colorado State. So he actually wore number 00. And I wore it in high school and I wore it in
That's where it
college.
came from.
Yep.
Okay.
I did get up to, and I remembered that, and I was fortunate enough that my parents were young enough to, I was young enough to actually watch them playing and, do things. So, I give all the credit to my parents, man, because, they were young. They were teens in today's world. Just think about being a teen and being a parent now. So you can only imagine how hard it was for them. But seeing them, thrive and, my dad on TV playing college basketball, that's what I wanted to do. So that's what I wanted to be, growing up.
And it's pretty amazing how you were saying how your mom wanted you to go to maybe a different school to focus on your academics. A lot of people don't know this, but before I went to the V, my mom had thoughts of me going to Chaminade because it's a
Okay.
a college prep school. And I didn't really know how big of a deal basketball wise that Chaminade was until I started hearing about
Yeah.
Bradley Beal and David Lee at during that time. And then of course now Jason Tatum and Tyler Cook and other guys. So she definitely saw first educational. Let's put them in a position where you're going to a
Definitely.
college prep school, but
Definitely.
my bloodline has been the V. So my mom went there,
Uh-huh.
my uncle went there, my cousins went there. So it was just pretty much destined for me to go to the V and do my thing. So with that being said, you're at the V. Tell us about. You already know how the V is. The reputation is there. You know what I'm saying? When you
Yeah.
go to the V, it's a big thing. You have to stand on your own. You have to represent from those who've been there before you to you at that present time. So just tell us about the pressures, if there were any, planned for the V.
Um, and I'm gonna take it back, like you said, keep it real, and I'm gonna keep it real with everybody, man. And everybody know I'm an open book when it comes to my life, and following me on social media, you will see that. But before the V, my mom was thinking academics. I was definitely supposed to go to MICDS,
Mm,
Mary Institute Country Day. I actually started at summer school before my freshman year at Country Day. Liked it a lot. But my dad, he set me down before I was even supposed to go to my actual year of high school, and he was like, "Man, like, what do you want to do? And what do you see yourself 5 years from now?" And looking at Vashon, you talk about the pressures. Going into my freshman year, Vashon had just won the state championship.
hmm.
So that's 2000. Joe Shelton and Dwight Whitfield, you talked about him earlier. They were graduating. So Vashon was loaded. Jimmy McKinney,
Right,
Lorenzo Gordon, my main man, Jesse Atkins. Because without Jesse Atkins, I wouldn't be who the player I am for real. Jesse Atkins, BJ Jackson.
right.
You got Nick Kern. You have all these great players, man, and you only graduating two seniors. So all the players I just named were starters in the state championship game the year before, and I'm coming in as a freshman. So it was fun and a lot of pressure for me because I wanted to be a part of that. As a kid, I saw them running out with the different uniforms, with the team shoes.
Right.
I saw the sold out crowds at the pit before the JV game. So I wanted to be a part of that. And my dad asked me, like, what do you want to do? What do you see yourself? And I was like, man, I can see myself running out in a Vashon uniform. I want to see how that is. Um, at the time didn't know if I was gonna be playing varsity, JV, or nothing. I was like, man, I just got to be a part of it. I want to have a uniform on, you know.
Let's go.
I want to have a uniform on. So, my dad, he really told me, was like, man, you making a really good decision to go there. And he was like, I'm gonna be honest, man. I know they loaded. They're great players there. Joe, Jimmy, Nick. He's like, man, but the cream rises to the top. And that has been my phrase and my saying with my dad, like most of my life. When it comes to basketball, when it comes to sports, the cream rises to the top. If you got the
Mhm.
talent and you put in the work, then guess what? You'll be rewarded for it. You'll be on top. And that's kind of the attitude I had. So once I stepped in as a freshman, came in, the guys welcomed me with open arms, and you know, it was history from there.
Man. So I know with Jimmy McKinney, with Jesse, with Nick Kern, they had like a buzz about them before they went to the V. Like all I heard during summertime was, man, watch out, cause y'all about to bring in some incoming freshmen. So, did you feel that you had that same buzz as well when you came in, or you had to, like you said, cream rise to the top and establish yourself when you first came in?
I'm gonna be honest. Youth sports, the entire city of St. Louis knew my name.
Mm,
Um, I played, and like I said, my parents did a really good job, man. Of if I would say of putting me out there. I played at Woes. I started playing at Tandy, but
hmm
then from then, I mean, I played, in West County. I played at ABC. I played in St. Charles. So my parents did a really good job of kind of connecting me all over the city. So, a lot of different people will be able to see me. Um, I wouldn't say my buzz was as great as, Jimmy and Jesse, because at that time the V was rolling. I mean,
Right.
V get ready to roll. They were rolling, man. Like I said, they had been in state championship, 2 years, back to back. They had just won a state championship, so they were on top of the world at that time. I mean, if I were them, who is this 5'6" kid coming into our school? Like who is he? So I always say I had a buzz, but compared to that Vashon basketball, it was nothing. It was nothing. So I felt that I had to prove myself, and I did. So, but my buzz was nothing compared to theirs coming into high school.
So before we dig even more about Vashon basketball, as you said before, you was an athlete and playing other sports. So did you play other sports outside of basketball while at the V?
Yes, sir. Um, and I'm gonna make a joke first. Yeah, I know I got to give him a joke off. I always say in the PHL, I hold a record in the PHL in tennis. I was a tennis player. I played tennis for 3 years at Vashon, and the record that I hold, I had the most consecutive losses in PHL history. So I did play tennis at Vashon, and I also ran track. I'm a state champion. I'm a state champion at track. Me, Will Franklin, David Shanks, Charles Harden, DeAndre Hip Hill. We still hold the record in the 4x2. In our class in the 4x2 at Vashon High School. So I was a state champion at track as well my senior year. So I was a three-sport athlete, in the record books for all three. In tennis, most losses in PHL history. In track, we still record holders in the 4x2. And in basketball, three-time state champion. So I definitely, made some memories, definitely
Hey,
playing all
hey,
three
hey,
sports in high school.
just say Google me. Google me.
Google me. It's all there. It's there. These are facts. These are straight facts coming at everybody. You hear me?
So it's pretty cool because I played tennis as well, while at the V, and also played soccer outside of
Uh-huh.
basketball, and I played baseball too. But people be like, man, what? Vashon has a soccer team? They have a tennis
Yeah.
team? And
Yeah.
And the year that I played soccer, we actually came in second place behind Sodan. And Sodan, and I made the joke all the time, but Sodan, like every guy on the team speaking different languages, So you're
Yeah.
like, oh Lord, this is about to be a
Yeah,
long day.
about 10-2, 10-1, 10-2. It's gonna be a long game. It's
But
gonna be a long game for
I
sure.
led the PHL. I believe my senior year, I led the PHL in goal scoring. So I was proud of myself, and that's actually how I got a scholarship to go to Harris Stowe. Was out
Uh-huh.
of all sports, it was out of soccer. Even though I played baseball and tennis and basketball the whole nine, but soccer was the way out in regards to going to college for me. And we have a comment here. Paul Hackney says, "I love you, nephew."
Unc, what's up? What's
There we
up? My
go.
Uncle Paul, he tuned in, man. It's and
Yeah.
I gotta give a lot of credit to my family too, man. Like I said, my parents had me at a young age. Um, so they put me in situations to where I can thrive. So I gotta give a shout out to all my cousins on my mother's side, and my uncles and my cousins on my dad's side, because without them, they're about maybe 3 or 4 years older than me. But those times in the backyard, playing basketball against them, being rough, tackling me, they definitely helped, make sure that I was, well tuned when I got to high school. I see my cousin Marco, he in there commenting. So shout out to my cousin Marco. He come pick me up. He's been my biggest fan, I would say, man. Before then, my cousin Marco was a fan of Vashon basketball. And even when I was a freshman, man, he'd come pick me up, make sure I'm, at practice. He'd come pick me up, make sure I'm at the games on time. He'd go to the games with me. He'd take me on Highway 40. He's out
South
there.
South, man.
He
Fun
was a
times
senior.
back in the day.
I couldn't drive. He come pick me up. And make sure that I was getting the tools that I needed, man. So shout out to my cousin Marco, my family on my mom's side, my cousin Carl, cousin Lorraine, my cousin Esther. They used to make sure that I was definitely in there. So shout out to my family for sure, because I wouldn't be the man I am today without them, no doubt. And I give all my all I've had a lot of accolades and everything, but it wasn't for my family being as strong and as sound as they were, I wouldn't be the man that I am today, for sure.
So outside of your parents, who would you say was that person? It could be family member, friend that would get you right when you're on the wrong path. Like, man, if you don't, I'm a if you don't, get right. Who was
Hey,
that
I,
person?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like I said, I'm an open book. Just about my life, my personal life, and my private. I say personal and private, the same thing, and it's about my sports life, man. I have a few people in my corner that just make sure that I'm always on the right path. Of course, I named my cousin Marco, who's been there since day one. If I got anything going on, he makes sure I'm on the right path. This was in high school too. I mean, like I said, he's 3 years older than I am, but he was always there making sure I'm doing everything right. My uncle Paul, my uncle Mark, they've always been there as well. And then my cousins, like I said, I everything is weighed heavy on my cousins, my cousin Carl, my cousin Lorraine. They've been there, since day one, making sure that I'm on the right path. And I also got to get some credit to my best friends, man. My people who are, closest to me. I wouldn't say that I have a small circle, because I am an open book. But when I'm, in need, and just need a listening ear, my boy Q, Quentin Stedman, my boy Drew Simmons, and I'm gonna be real, Tony Irons.
Mm.
Me and Tony, it's not a thing that he's at Vashon now and we just met each other. Me and Tony been, we grew up together. So he's always there making sure I'm straight, and just making sure I'm all good. So definitely gotta give a shout out to my circle for sure.
So you brought up Tony. Let's talk about his father, the legendary Floyd Irons. How did it feel playing under him, and how much has he meant to you, basketball wise, or just as a man?
Um, I could sit up here and talk for 2 days straight about Coach Irons, Floyd Irons. I don't call him Floyd. I call him Coach Irons.
Right.
And to this day, he'll let you know I call him Coach Irons. Um, my relationship with him is beyond sports, um, and he has made an impact on my family that has been greater than almost anything. Um, like I said, it goes back, man. I mentioned it earlier. My dad played against Coach Irons in the state championship when he was in high school. So that relationship with with Coach Irons, he's always been there, man. Um, he has been, a father figure. Even though my father's been in my life my whole life, he's making sure that I'm on the right track. And he has the best life lessons ever. And what I mean by that, man, he 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 lets you learn through experience,
Mm-hmm.
but he uses basketball to teach life. And he has a lot of different sayings, a lot of different stories that I live by to this day. Um, and one of them, and like I said, I'm a realist. I'm gonna keep it real. My favorite story about Coach Irons is he would always sit us down, and he would talk about shit in your ice cream.
Mm.
And what he meant by that, he was like, okay, just imagine you a kid, when you get this big bowl of your favorite ice cream. And my favorite ice cream, I'm cookies and cream. I'm a cookies and cream guy. So I got this ginormous bowl of cookies and cream ice cream, right? And if you get a small piece of shit in your ice cream, are you still gonna eat the ice cream?
Mm.
If you get a small piece, just a small piece of shit in your ice cream, are you still gonna eat that big bowl of ice cream? And then what happens if you let it sit in the ice cream for days or weeks? Then the entire bowl of ice cream
Mm-hmm.
turns to what? There you have it. So,
Exactly.
and the story behind that was, the smallest thing. Don't let the smallest thing affect this overall cause of what you got going on, because that smallest thing, if you let it sit, if you let it bother you, then it's going to affect the entire bowl of ice cream. So that's one story that I live by, with my life. And I thank Coach Irons every day, and he knows that if he need anything or if it's somebody to be there, I'm there first. I'm there first because without him, like I said, he's one of the guys that, I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for him, for sure.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And just in regards to on the court, how long do you feel it took him to notice you? Like, wait a minute, this kid here could be something special.
One game.
One game.
One game. I'm gonna be honest. My first game of high school, we played down in New Madrid. New Madrid County has this really big basketball tournament they put on. They
Right.
invite a lot of the big time teams from all over the country. I'm be honest. I'm storyteller, so at that time I'm a freshman. Don't really know what's going on. I'm just there. I'm in a Vashon uniform. I'm happy to be there. But the game before us, I see Chris Bosh is playing. So that's how big of in a high school event it was.
Mm-hmm.
But fast forward to our game, I didn't start. My first game of high school, I didn't start. Uh, so he started a senior above me. So about three or 4 minutes into the game, he subbed me in. I'm the first sub off the bench. He subbed me in. Now I'm surprised. I'm like, man, I know I ain't getting in the game. So he subbed me in. I go to the table. Coach Hall, he on the sideline, which is one of the assistant coaches who was there for us for a long time. Shout out to Coach Hall. But Coach Hall grabbed me like, man, take your warm up off. I still got my warm up on. So Coach Hall like, come on, man, you finna sub in? I'm like, already? He like, yeah. So I sub in the game, and I can't remember who I subbed out. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you, I subbed Arnold Britt out the game,
Okay,
and
Britt.
Arnold, yeah, Arnold come out the game. He give me a foul, like, let's go, you got it. I'm like, all right, cool. So he subs Arnold out. I go in, and the other team's taking the ball out of bounds. So we pick up full court. So that's all I know. We've been practicing for 3.5 weeks. Pick up full court. So I pick my man up. They throw the ball in. I tackle him. Boom! Foul. That's the first thing I did. I was so nervous, man. I was so nervous, but I tackled him, so I get a foul. I look over at the bench. I look at Coach Irons. I look at Coach Hall. I look at Coach Ray. Man, they dying laughing. So, but the next play, the team come down. I get a steal. I got a free layup. I threw the ball off the glass. Jimmy caught it with two hands and dunked it. So that's when I knew I was there. That's when I knew it was time. Right, the next play. So, right after that, coach was like, "Yeah, he ready." So we come back to St. Louis. We play Gateway High School. Um, and I'm starting first PHL game, first game at home. We played at Gateway. I actually have a friend, which is like my sister, Alicia Robinson. Shout out to Alicia. She started at Gateway all 4 years too.
Hey,
But Alicia was at the game and she played at Gateway. She telling everybody like, "Hey man, he cold." Like Dwayne Polk, Dwayne Polk, y'all better watch him. And off the tip, man, I scored 9 straight. I hit
wow,
three threes straight, and from that point on, I started the rest of the year. So, that's kind of how it all happened for me for sure.
that's what's up, man. That's definitely a cool little funny story right there.
Yeah,
Go in, warm up, shirt on, and tackling cats
right.
like you playing for the Rams back in the day.
First play, I'm talking about, I done fouled them hard. I turned out like, come on, they like, calm down, you okay, man? I was a freshman, I was 14 years old, I was nervous out there.
So you brought up the New Madrid and then playing the PHL. So playing in the pit on that stage is I was telling this to Earl Austin Jr. I had him as a guest about maybe 3 weeks ago,
Mhm.
but it's just a different atmosphere when you go into a Vashon game, no matter what day of the week it is, really. But just like on Friday nights or Saturday nights, it's like the whole world just comes in and it's a big stage when you playing at the pit. Can you just describe that as a player and someone who had a lot of success for the V?
Yes, sir, I definitely can. First off, I'm gonna be honest, man. And we can go back. This is over 20 years ago. For everybody who went to those games, I definitely can attest to how it was. If you did not get to a Vashon game by the second quarter of the JV game,
It's a
you
wrap.
weren't getting in.
Yep, it's a wrap.
And Vashon in the middle of the projects, right in the middle of the Blue Mire. You had everybody parked in the Blue Mire, everybody parked down Grand. But if you didn't get there by halftime in the JV game, you weren't getting in. And one reason because the JV games were just as exciting as the varsity games. JV
Mhm.
came out in different uniforms. JV was undefeated multiple years. But if you didn't get there at that time, you weren't getting in. And let's talk about coming in. And I'm gonna use the OV, the pit, and the new V. When we play against teams that come all over the country, man, and I've played all over the country, in a lot of different places. But walking into the pit, walking into the V was different. First off, when you walk in, you're walking through metal detectors.
Right. Right.
You're walking through metal
And you
detectors.
know what? Before you even bring
Yeah.
that up, that was even going on during school hours.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you coming through metal detectors. So just imagine, you got the county schools coming in, schools that are, from California, from Kansas, from
Right.
Memphis, Mississippi. They come into the pit. You got to go through metal detectors first. You getting patted down. Like, hold on, like you getting patted down. So that's one experience. That I definitely miss. And the second thing, when you came in through the V, when you walked into the gym, the first thing you felt was the heat. You felt that
Right.
outside the door.
Right.
It's 98, 99, 105 in the gym. The higher you sit in the bleachers, if you go to the rafters, it's 110 up in the rafters. So you definitely got to make sure you get there early so you're not up in the rafters.
And ladies, back in the day, if you try to go out there to a gym, try to look all cute and fine,
Yeah,
by the
it's over
time
with.
it's a wrap. I'm
It's
sorry.
over with.
Like hair is out here,
Yeah,
sweat all over. Nah, don't
yeah,
don't even
yeah.
try to act like you a Kardashian or whatever.
No, it ain't happening. It ain't happening
It
at
ain't
the pit.
happening.
Yeah, them lashes gonna be on your shirt when you leave out of there. It's gonna be hot in there. Um, but when the third team when you came into the pit, we did a great job of filling out the atmosphere. So you got
Right.
to give a shout out to all of the Vashon alumni. And you talking about people came in the 70s, 80s, even at that time in the 60s, they
Right.
packed it out every night. Um, and also you had a DJ, the radio. The radio was in the building at that
Right.
time. Whoever was hot, whether it was a different radio, they were there and they playing all the latest music. They playing all of the everything that you want to hear, not necessarily what your
Mhm.
parents wanted to hear, but
Right.
they
Right.
playing what the teens wanted to hear. So the atmosphere there, it was second to none. The greatest gym in the state of Missouri history is and will always be Vashon High School, whether it's at the pit or whether it's on cast, because you definitely got the same kind of feel when you walk into Vashon High School now, as well. So
Mm.
definitely.
And something that I don't hear people talk about a lot, but something that always meant a lot to me when I was playing was after going through the heat, but you always look up at that blue scoreboard, and I love seeing like my name. You know
Yes,
what I'm saying?
sir.
I loved seeing that. It's like, yeah, Saunders, boom, there we
Yep.
go. So that also was a great feeling.
Yeah. And I gotta give a huge shout out, man, to Coach Irons. And the only reason I say that because as an adult, you know, going back to think about what you would like as a kid when you playing sports. I want my name on the back of my jersey. And one thing that Coach Irons did, he did a great job of visualizing what a parent would want for their kid. When you walk into a gym, you want to see your kid's picture. You want to see your kid's name, they basketball number up on the wall. That's one of the great, one of the best things that I loved about Coach Irons because he didn't individualize you, but he wanted you to be seen. So when you walked out there, you saw your name, your number. So you can't go around school like, I'm on the team, man. They're like, well, what number are you? They're gonna scroll down the numbers, your name ain't up there, you ain't on that team.
Right, right.
So that's one thing that he did. Even if somebody didn't get in the game, man, when they walked in the gym, their family saw their name. And that's huge because if you can think, how many families have, a lot of family members that come to games. And even now, if your parent comes to a game, if it's your grandmother's her first time seeing you, she look up and see your name and your number.
Mhm.
That's a family name. You're not just representing yourself, you're representing your family, and you're representing the Vashon family. So he did a great job of, putting us out there to, be exposed to, you know, certain things that we weren't used to. And nowadays we're, that's all you see. You see names, pictures, you see it all over the place now. So, shout out to Coach Irons for making us a team, but also individualizing us as players with our families with the name and the number when you walk into the gym.
And just to add on to what you brought up earlier about having shoes and stuff like that. So as I know this as well, but it felt like you were already a rock star before being an official rock star. Like, you know how you be a top college recruit or whatever, or a college star. But you playing for the V, we had actual shoes that we wear to go on the plane, shoes that we'll wear to ride in buses and vans, outfits to wear. I mean, we had it all. It
Yes.
truly felt like we were already rock stars before being rock stars. So just tell us about that, experience and feel. I know you brought up earlier just how Coach Irons made you feel, like this, at such a young age. But going out of town, I remember it was a time that one weekend we was in Nebraska. Next weekend we in Chicago. Next weekend we in this state flying. I mean,
Mhm.
like we in the NBA. So just tell us about your perspective of having that rock star life.
All right. And again, I'm gonna keep it real. I see you got Abba Pujols and Nelly in the back on your back screen, on your backdrop, right?
Right, right, right.
It came a point in time, and my aunt, she would always say this, and my aunt Millie, she'd be like, Dwayne, and she's the only person that called me Dwayne. Everybody else called me Poke. She say, Dwayne, everywhere I go, I could be at the hospital, I could be at work, I could be at the gas station. Somebody knows who you are.
Mm,
And I brought up Nelly because at one point in time, as far as like the fame, I'm not rich at all, but my fame of me personally was on the same status as Nelly. And the only reason I say that because I was at that time I was the man at Vashon, and then I was going to St. Louis University and I was staying home to play basketball. So I would be driving down Highway 40, Highway 170, and I would look up and I would see myself on a billboard
mm.
as a teen. So just imagine how that was me riding down the street or riding down the highway. I'm leaving somewhere and I look up and I'm on a billboard. And at that same point in time, like, you know what? She probably right because I couldn't go to the mall. I couldn't go to the mall and not shake hands. I couldn't go anywhere without anybody stopping me talking about basketball and how proud of of me that they are. So it was definitely one of those things where Coach Irons, he made sure that, we were put and exposed to certain things that, could have come ahead of us or that we weren't used to. And you brought up about, having the same team shoes. We all had the same team shoes. We all had travel gear. We got an opportunity to travel to states. Um, and I remember at one point in time, I had a teammate who had never left the city of St. Louis.
Mm.
So and that's why I talk about Coach Iron so much, because he was thinking beyond just family. He was thinking about the kids, about giving the kid an opportunity to go out of town, to fly on a plane for the first time. At that point in time, that may be the only time that kid or anyone in their family had been on a plane or hadn't been out the city of St. Louis, going to California, seeing different things, going to theme parks, um, dressing in the latest gear, dressing in Nikes, uh, you know, uh, several different game uniforms, several different shooting shirts, spirit shirts, all eyes on the V, on the shirt. So Coach Irons did a great job of exposing us to, all of that at a very young age. Like I said, I was 14, 15 years old. So definitely got to give him, credit to him, because, without him doing that, I mean, I wouldn't know how to handle myself, as an adult, getting all the attention and everything as well.
And as you said, not only was it a confidence builder for the players, but it also served as a intimidation tactic for the opposition. Because
Yes.
because when if you go to an opposing gym and they see us coming in like I said, college stars or whatever, all wearing the same shoes, outfits, the whole nine, and the buzz with the people behind us when we walk into the gym, that already takes a part of the opponent's mindset off the game. It's like boom, we got them already, and we
I agree.
and
I agree.
we didn't even
And
we didn't even step on the court yet.
right, I agree, but that also can work in reverse.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's true.
coming out with all that, we got everybody's best shot. So
Like,
coming out with
oh yeah,
everything,
we gonna kill them.
yeah, we getting at them. We it may not be nobody that's gonna get them, but we gonna get
That's
them
true.
today.
That's
They
true.
came out in Jordans today. We the first team that beat them in the Jordan. So
Yep. Yep.
I agree with you. It was a intimidation factor, but that brought the level of play up from other programs.
Yes.
And also, um, you know, going back then and to now, um, that works as, something that nobody ever forget. So that's something that, is stored in the memory bank. When this team, and just think about it, you seen an athletic team run out or an athlete run out in a certain shoe or a certain shirt, an athlete, how they have their hair, Allen Iverson coming out with the braids and the headband,
Mm-hmm.
the big shorts, and nowadays, the little shorts, and LeBron running out in LeBrons, um, Allen Iverson with the armband and like I said,
Right.
with the braids. So that it wasn't necessarily just for that moment. It embedded something in all of our minds that you'll never forget and you'll always remember. And that's one thing about Vashon basketball that everybody will remember is not necessarily the level of play of the program, but how the program is ran. How they look. First impression is look. When you first meet somebody, you want to see how they look, what kind of shoes they got on, how's their hair, what kind of clothes do they have on. So, it was more of a first impression factor to leave an impression on the entire nation, not necessarily St. Louis because we were traveling. So, that first impression with Coach Irons was everything, and I love it because that's all I remember, and that's how it has to be. If it's not like that, then it's not ran right for any program.
There it is. And before we continue on, for those listening right now on Hot 365 Radio, the stream will be ending within the next minute. So definitely go on to Facebook, to Twitter, or YouTube. Go to the platform Sports Talk Show and continue to watch and listen to this incredible interview I have right now. I'm your boy Smooth, and right over here we have
Dwayne Polk, the one and only. Well, it's actually three of us. My dad, me, and my son. But I'm the good one right now. I'm the better one, the Vashon one.
There it is. So let's continue on with this great conversation. Tell us about that moment when you realized that you were about to be a first time champion at the V.
My freshman year at the V, we had the privilege of making it to state and actually playing in the state championship game. I'm gonna be honest, my first I was just out there. I was just playing basketball, man. I was having fun. Um, I had a leader in Jesse Atkins, who he was a senior. He was a starting point guard. 4 years before me. Played with Joe, but Jesse made sure that I was comfortable. Whether it was me playing on the ball as being a point guard or playing off the ball, playing it too. You know, um, he was like, man, just go out there and have fun. And that's all. My freshman year, I didn't know what we were playing for. To be honest, I didn't know anything about a state championship, a district championship. I didn't
Right.
know anything about playoffs because in youth sports, in football you have a championship, but if you're playing AAU and playing in different tournaments, you just playing games. A lot of times there's no championship. So um, we get around districts. And one thing I did notice is the level of Coach Irons kind of raised to a different
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
to a different level. And he kind of he never got on me, because I was a freshman, but he did. I saw how he was with the seniors, and with juniors, with Jimmy and Nick and Andre Aaron, and how he was with those guys, at that time. But um, we made it to state. Still didn't know what we planned for. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just out there having fun. So we make it to state. I'm starting. First game we play Jeff City. We win by like 40. Still don't know what's going on. I'm like, all right, win by 40. We play tomorrow. Okay, we play tomorrow. So I can always remember we're in the hotel room the day of the state championship game, and I can remember the game being on TV on Fox Sports Network. So
Mhm.
Coach Hall was like, "Yeah, we on TV tonight. This is the last game of the season." I'm like, "Last game of the season? I didn't know it." He's like, "Yeah, this will we playing for the state championship. This game is gonna be on TV and everything else." So I'm like, "Oh man, I'm gonna be on TV." I never played on TV before, so got a little nervous. I'm
Right,
nervous as a
right.
mug, you hear me? So we get to at that time it was Hearns Center at Mizzou. We get the Hearn jam packed, jam packed. I'm talking about like uh, you know, sold out. This is the first time that we were playing Liberty High School, um, and the entire town of Liberty
Yeah.
is at the game. And we're wearing blue and white, and they wear blue and white. The entire town of Liberty is there. You got our Vashon fans, they there, but the entire it's like in the stadium you can see Vashon fans, and around the stadium is Liberty.
Yeah.
So we run out, they go crazy. Ah, I'm like, oh man, I'm like, this is the most packed game of the year. Still really don't know what I'm playing for, but I know this is the last game. I'm like, all right, cool. I got to do a little something. So I'm starting and everything like that. So, coach was like, man, just go out there and do the best you can. Just go out there and play hard. And we go out. If anybody can remember back to 2001, it was a close game. With Liberty, our freshman year at half. Then we started second half, and it just opened wide up. And I was on the bench most of the second half. I'll be honest, because Coach had those seniors in there on the grid on the court. Anthony Petey Wilson on the court. He got Lorenzo Gordon on the floor. Nick,
Right.
Jimmy, Jesse Atkins. They all on the court because they the seniors, so they got to bring it on home. It's their time. I'm just there. I'm just there. You hear me? So they all on the court. And I can remember a guy named Billy Tolan. He was actually on the bench with us, and he was like, man, we were doing a countdown from like 15 seconds,
Mm.
and he like, man, it's easy, and we count down 15, 14, and we get to one, and I don't know what it was, man, but like I let out the biggest scream, and I just ran into the middle of the court, and I saw everybody kind of make a dog pile, just jumped in the dog pile, and I'm like, yeah, we won, going crazy. And at that time, again, we were playing on TV, so the cameraman, they running out, so I'm trying to get all in the camera, like, yeah, like I did something. I ain't do nothing. The seniors did everything, but I started, did a little bit, but all in the camera. Like, yeah, the B, baby, let's
Right.
go. But
I did this. I
right,
did
I
this.
did this week. Yeah, let's go. Like I did something. I'm a freshman. The seniors brought that on home for me, even though I did play a lot. Not a lot in the second half, but that first one was definitely very special. It felt like the weight of the world was off my shoulders. At that time too, because they were like, man, y'all did it. But to a lot of those guys, they were excited that we won, but they had won the year before. So they had won. So they like, hey man, calm down, freshman. I'm the only freshman on the team. They're like, calm down, freshman. Calm down. Jesse grabbed me, gave me a hug. It was his last game. He like, man,
Pass the
we did
torch.
it. Yeah, like we did it. Like let's go. Like keep it
Mm,
going. Like we did it, but let's go. Like we won it. Like let's keep it going. So at that moment, it was like when Jesse hugged me, was like, hey, this it's time. Like it's time next year. So definitely enjoyable my freshman year. So then the next year,
mm.
then my sophomore year started. So
Miss Williams said on here earlier, first impressions are important. That's why the NBA got on players about how they dress coming into the games. Then she
I
also
agree.
asked, "How old is your son?"
Well, I have two sons. I have one son that's 18 years old. He's a senior at St. Louis Public Schools, Vision Performing Arts.
Okay.
And then I have a son. He's 6 years old. I'm sorry, 7. He's 7. So he's just starting to like basketball now. So we'll see. His name is Dwayne Polk. So if y'all hear of another Polk, or a lot of people do call him Play, I call him Play because he got some big shoes to fill.
Right.
So if you do hear the name Play, or Dwayne Polk Jr., he's coming up. He's 7 years old. Heck of an athlete right now, for
Okay.
sure.
So you are junior or senior, and now Buzz is already out. You won multiple championships, the whole nine. Talk about the recruiting process, and was it stressful for you, for your family? I know you probably getting mail every day of the week, people calling you. Just tell us about that process of what you went through before you made your decision to go to St. Louis University.
Yes, sir. So, of course, my sophomore year started, and we were um, top 5 teams in the country. Number 3 team most of the year. Um, my only loss my sophomore year was to LeBron James. So yeah, I did get a chance to play against LeBron in high school. That was the only loss we had my sophomore year. So
Wow.
we ended up number 3 in the country. If we had beat LeBron's team, we would have ended up the number 1 team in the country.
Wow.
I always talk about a lot about like storytelling. That's one of the coolest things is, with Coach Irons, he put us on that platform to, be exposed to everything. And I did play against LeBron James. We took an L, and it's my fault. We ain't gonna talk about that. But it's my
Oh
fault.
no.
My
Oh,
sophomore
no, let
year.
me go
But
back to this story real quick. Hold on.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, so my sophomore year, we won state. We won by a Missouri State record, which still stands. We played DeSmet High School, won by 55 points in the state championship game versus DeSmet, which was at Vashon. That was a three-peat. So if you go back, remember Joe won his senior year, so he graduated. I won my freshman year, was the following year, so my sophomore year was the first three-peat at Vashon. So we
Man.
ended up winning state. Um, and Jimmy and Nick were graduating, so it's my turn. So I'm next up on the stand, and my recruiting process blew up. Um, and what I mean by that, a lot of high major Division 1 schools, express interest. If you want me to name drop, I will. But I did have, Georgetown.
Mm.
I had Mizzou, Michigan State, Nebraska. Um, didn't quite get Duke or North Carolina. I wasn't that big yet. Didn't quite get those schools, but SLU. Um, I would say Arizona showed a little bit of interest. I do remember Luke Olson actually sitting sideline watching one of my games before, which is actually pretty cool. seeing Bill Selt, Roy Williams, watching my game. So I actually blew up. At that point of my sophomore year, going into my junior year, I was ranked as high as sophomores in the country. I was ranked as high as 35. Top five. 35 players in top players in the country. As far as point guards, I was in the top five point guards to at that time. Um, in that class of 2004. Um, so I was heavily recruited. Was invited to Nike All American camp with the top 100 players, and at that time you got to still think you got juniors and seniors who are ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
But I was one of the All Americans, so I was a Nike All American around that time. Um, seen a lot of coaches, spoke to a lot of coaches. A lot of coaches show interest. Um, if y'all do want an order of like schools that I had at the time, going into my junior year, the number one was Georgetown. I was a fan of Allen Iverson.
Mm-hmm.
Above the Rim was my favorite all-time movie. Kyle Lee Watson was on Above the Rim, and y'all know he went to Georgetown. So Georgetown was my number one. John Thompson Jr. was the head coach at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Number two on the list was Mizzou. It was home. Jimmy was going to Mizzou at the time, and number three was SLU. Lorenzo Walmar was there at the time, my sophomore year. This was before he went to Washington University, but he recruited me heavy. Came to a lot of our games. Nick Kern was going to go to SLU, so I kind of had Jimmy going to Mizzou, Nick going to SLU, so I kind of had the best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
We're playing it with a teammate that was actually going to go on to play college basketball. Um, my recruiting process, it was like I said, second to none at that time going into my sophomore year. In the fall of my sophomore year, I broke my kneecap
Mm.
1 week before basketball season started. Um, it was one of the, I would say, it was one of the hardest things that I would say I faced as, um, a team. Being on top of the world, winning two state championships, starting at, arguably the best, program in the Midwest at the time. Coming off playing against LeBron James, he was a junior, going to be a senior. And the keys to the vehicle was going to be passed to you, at that time, even though I was going to be a junior. um, Again, ranked in the top five point guards in the country. So, a lot of attention was on me at that time. But, I broke my kneecap, um, set out most of the season, tried to come back, but I was only at like 30 or 40%, didn't play a lot at all.
Mm.
My mom kind of held me out, but also my mom held me down at that time too. Just imagine being on top of the world and the land of the world, or the carpet is taken right up from under you. Um, and a lot of people that were around when you're on top of it, they weren't there no more.
Mm-hmm.
The news cameras weren't there. They did a story on me, but it was because I was hurt. The news cameras weren't there. Wasn't getting a lot of attention. A lot of schools fell off because I was hurt. Um, but the schools who wanted me, they stayed there. I mean, Georgetown stayed, Mizzou stayed, SLU stayed. Those are my top three. They wrote me letters. I still remember even Coach Izzo wrote me a letter at
Mm.
that time when I got hurt. Like, just stay strong. Keep at it. Like, you never know what the future holds. So kind of I was getting a lot of letters from a lot of different people all over the city of St. Louis, just, staying positive and, kind of shake everything off. You'll be okay. I mean, you're young. You're young. You'll bounce back. But at that time, I'm like, oh no, it's over with. It is over. So, that's kind of how, the beginning of my recruiting process went, at that time as well. If you do want me to go a little deeper, I definitely will, as to why I chose SLU, and to stay home, actually, as well.
Yeah, that was my next question is what made you go ahead and decide to choose SLU?
Okay, so at the time I did have three. Again, I had Georgetown, which was my number one dream school. Two, I had Mizzou. Jimmy was at Mizzou. Three, I had SLU. Lorenzo Romar, he left. He was at Washington. Of course, he did recruit me a little bit when he was at Washington, but Coach Soderberg, Brad Soderberg, actually became the head coach, and um, he reached out to me when I was hurt. He was like, "Hey, do you mind if we, meet with your and this at this time you can go on campus, you can meet with the coaching staff and everything like
Mhm.
that. So went on campus, met with the coaching staff, me and my dad. We sat down, talked, asked questions. I was hurt, so at this time, like, no way y'all want me. Like, I'm damaged goods. Like, it's a million other point guards that y'all can go recruit. At this time, I don't know if I'm gonna be 100% healthy. I don't know. But I mean, Coach Soderberg, he was like, hey, I'm not worried about that. Like, we built this relationship. I want to see you bounce back. And when you bounce back, we here. Like, we offered you, that still stands. If you come here, we're not recruiting another, point guard, for another 3 years. If you get healthy, you come back. You got a chance to play. You'll be at home. You right down the street from your family. Right down the street from Vashon High School, and you can actually start a trend with players coming to SLU.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm like, you know what, that sounds pretty good. Um, and at that time, I'm like, okay, I could be home. Larry Hughes just did it. Larry Hughes just did it a few years ago.
And he in
I'm
the
at home,
league, you know.
right? And he in the league. Larry Hughes just did it. They, coach said they're gonna look out for me. Spoke with my dad. My dad was like, "Hey, and there's no telling what the future holds. Like this, this is scholar. They telling you like they still, offering this scholarship, especially in that situation at that time. I mean, I was at the lowest of the low, at that time. So I was like, okay, let me, weigh my options. Like I said, it's the fall, so school's going on. So let me weigh my options. So, then I found out that Quinn Snyder wasn't going to be at Mizzou.
Game changer.
Game changer. Yep. And Jimmy was there, so I'm like, okay, I can still go play with Jimmy. Um, and I'm like, I can go play with Jimmy, still can go to Mizzou, but I'm like, man, he's not gonna be there. So, um, and then Georgetown, all town favorite. You know, uh, Spoke to the John Thompson Jr. We spoke on the phone. He like, man, hey, we still here. You still want to come. It's still there. So then a few weeks later, I found out I was having a son.
Oh,
Um, and my 18-year
definitely
old.
a game changer.
Yep, yep. My 18-year-old. He was out on the way. So with me, I had to think about, not necessarily myself, but my family. So, my decision came down to, you know, um, SLU. It's at home.
Right.
My offer's still there. I can raise my son, be around my family. My family can help. Um, and I have an opportunity to, get some players to come here with me. That was my biggest thing. If one thing that as a younger teen that I was like, man, I can influence teens. Like, so one, I was like, man, I could talk to my friends. At that time, if you look at basketball in Missouri, going into my junior year or around 2002 to 2003, we had some heavy hitters. You
Yeah.
had Blake Ahern, you had Terry Evans, you had Lance Harris, who actually went to K State. You had Kalen Grimes. Um, so you had some Tommy Liddell, Kevin Lish, Luke Meyer. I'm talking about guys who are Adidas and Nike All Americans at that time. Xavier Price, who was actually one of the top players in the country too. So my thing, I'm like, hey, if I commit to SLU, I could talk to my friends and see if they want to come play with me at SLU. So I committed to SLU, and it was like a domino effect. Like a few weeks later, Luke Meyer committed, and I had no clue. Like I had played against Luke in the summer, and I didn't know who he was, and he had 40 on us. Luke committed to SLU. Later in the year, I talked to Tommy. We played against each other. I'm like, man, I'm going to SLU. He was like, well, I'm not gonna commit yet because I got other schools. But the following year, me and Tommy, we got close. He's like, man, well, I'm going to SLU with you. We can play together.
Mm,
And then like a year and a half later, Kevin Lish committed to SLU. So
mm.
I wouldn't say that I had a heavy influence, but players want to play with other guys that you know are gonna want to be on the same level as them. So we were all hometown kids. Like I said, you got Luke, who's from Washington, Missouri, myself from St. Louis, Tommy Liddell from East St. Louis, and then Kevin, who's from you know um, Belleville, Illinois. So and the funny part about it, I know we talk about being left-handed. At that time, we're all four left-handed guards going to the same school.
Mm.
So I made a really good decision. We're going there. Some other guys were going to come with me, so it was definitely love. It was all love playing with my friends for sure.
So now you're at SLU. What was the big adjustment that you had to make from playing at the V and playing in high school to now playing at SLU and in NCAA Division One ball?
I would say the biggest thing is the level of play. Um, at Vashon, Coach Hines, he did prepare us in practice and on the stage. I mean, we played at big arenas, sold out crowds all the time, and things like that. But the level of play, being a Division One athlete, playing against the best guys in the country every night. So, coming in, I had to, and my confidence level was off the charts because I know we kind of skipped over my junior and my senior year. But my confidence going into SLU was off the charts. I mean, I had a great senior year of high school where I did recover from the injury.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where I was right back to where I kind of ended up. From my sophomore year. I mean, I in high school my team went undefeated, which is the only undefeated team in Vashon, basketball history. Um, we won a state championship. We were, and I broke multiple records actually my senior year in a state championship game. Um, so going into SLU, I was on top of the world. I mean, I had one player of the year, in the St. Louis Post Dispatch, in the St. Louis American, which is, the most, the top newspaper, Suburban Journal player of the year. So, which are the top, newspapers and things like that you have in St. Louis City, in St. Louis County, and also, in Belleville and parts of Metro East Illinois. So my confidence level was through the roof. Interesting story too. The Cardinals, if you think back, when the Cardinals win the World Series, that was 2004.
Yeah, yep. Yep.
Cardinals won the World Series.
Oh, no,
I
no,
won.
no. That was oh 06.
That was no before then, before the
Oh,
'06.
so yeah, they went to the World Series in '04, but
Yeah, they went to in '04.
right, but
So
they
they went
won
in
in '06.
'04. They won in '06.
Right.
I had the biggest sports story in St. Louis in that year.
Hmm.
Yeah, so like I said, I mean, being very popular and having like just the confidence and seeing that everybody was backing me behind me, and now I'm going to SLU. I was like, okay, I got to step up, and going in as a freshman, Coach Soderberg was like, hey, you got the keys.
Mm.
He was like, I'm talking about day one. He like, you got the keys. Like this is you the point guard. You're gonna be the starting point guard. Kind of do your thing, do you? Um, in my freshman season, um, we had a lot to go on at SLU my freshman season. Our best player, Reggie Bryant, he actually got hurt. In the preseason, our starting center, Tom Frericks, he actually got hurt. Before the season, so they were out pretty much for the season. So our two top players, our two top players that time were actually injured, and I'm coming in as a freshman, like just ready. And I had already been playing at the level. I knew my game would speak for itself. We didn't have a good freshman year as a team at all, but
Oh, y'all
you
did.
know,
Y'all was
9-21. I can tell
20.
you 9-21, 9-21. I'm gonna tell you that right now out the gate.
That
We
is
didn't have a
called a reality check.
reality check. What reality check? Like I had some good games, I had some good games and things like that, but struggled to score. Again, our leading two scores were hurt.
Right.
So now, there's no really, the scouting report focuses on you. You're not the third option now. You number one, number two. So,
And
um, you know,
especially like with college sports period, it's all about that. What have you done for me lately?
yes,
Mentality.
sir.
So it's like you had that one year, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh no, the sky is falling, and the buzz is all of a sudden
Oh
gone."
yeah.
So I know it had to be. I know Mr. Williams has on here is what you call a rebuilding season,
Oh
but
yeah.
it humbled you, and I know that had to be motivation going into the next year. Like we can't have this season like we just had.
Oh yeah. Definitely, definitely. The next year, Tommy ended up coming to Tommy and Kevin Lish ended up coming the following year. So, they actually came my sophomore year. Um, and the craziest part of my sophomore year, we had a great summer. Like we grinding, we getting it. You hear me? Um, First game my sophomore year, we playing against Eastern Illinois at St. Charles Family Arena. I can remember like it's yesterday. Um, like I had a horrible like first half. This first game, had like a horrible first half, and I ended up going to the basket. I was going to the basket, and I went up, and a guy tried to take a charge, and I came down on my wrist. Um, like beginning of the season. Came down, almost broke my
Oh,
wrist early in the year. It was my right hand. Um, so I had to play through an entire year with a really bad right wrist. Now that's no excuse. I mean, you're a Division I athlete. You're an athlete, so you got to still go out there and play. I still started, still played a lot of minutes. Um, but Kevin and Tommy stepped up. I mean, they stepped up, and they were technically freshmen, actually that year too. So we ended up having a decent sophomore year. I actually played most of the year with a soft cast on my right wrist. I remember going to North Carolina, and I remember our trainer. He actually had to tape up my wrist in the North Carolina game. If you like look on Google and see some pictures, one of the pictures you can see my hand taped up, going to make a layup
mm,
in at North Carolina with the soft cast. It wasn't really a soft cast, it was like a pad actually on my wrist too. So
mm,
um, but that was a memory too for me though. Like playing at North Carolina,
right.
it's crazy.
Like who
Like
all can say that?
I mean, like going to North Carolina, you look up, you see Michael Jordan jersey in the Michael Jordan. Come on now, like you see Michael Jordan jersey in the Raptors, like which is wild, which is crazy. So it was definitely a very good experience in it. And believe it or not, we almost beat them at North Carolina
Mm,
uh, that year too. So but it was an okay year. My sophomore year, went through a little bit of adversity, but it definitely steamrolled us into junior year too, which was just a little bit better. Actually, didn't there. So Coach Soderberg was still there. Going into our junior year, we had a little bit of a veteran squad now. Kevin and Tommy, a year older.
right.
I'm a year older. Luke Meyer was coming along. Danny Brown was coming along. And our center was Ian Voyukis, who Ian was a really good player. He still is. He A few years ago, USA played against the Greek national team, and Ian was the center on the Greek national team. So that's how good he was. So my junior year was my best year in college, as far as like record wise and at SLU. Um, I believe we won 20 or 21 games that season. That year we had a
Y'all were 20 and 13.
yeah 20 yeah won 20 games. So that year we played against a lot of good teams, really a lot of good teams that made the tournament. Um, I want to say that year we played against North Carolina. They were the number one team in the country, and we actually played them here. So you talking about, of course, um, Tyler Hansborough, Brandon Wright, Wayne Ellington, Danny Green, Ty Lawson, all guys who we just named all guys in first round of the NBA draft.
Right.
So
Lord.
yeah, right. We named all guys in first round of the NBA draft on that team. We played them here, played them at Scott Trade. I still think maybe we hold the record for attendance.
Really?
Yep, at Scott Trade. I think that still stands for a home game. So we were down by like one or two at halftime, but they kind of opened it up in the second half on us. So, but junior year was actually a lot better.
Marco Price. So with that being said, so your team was the last team to play at the Enterprise before, well, back then the Scott Sabbath or Scott Trade before going to Chaffetz. Is that correct?
Yep, my senior year. Yep, my
Okay.
senior year. We were the last to actually play at Scott Trade. At the time. And then Chaffetz Arena was opening up actually my senior year, but I didn't get a chance to actually play. But it was opening up around that time as well. So
Oh,
got a chance to go inside, see the grand opening. Wish I had a chance to play in it, but that's something where, I'm just grateful and thankful because you kind of paved the way for the players who are there now to actually be able to play in such a great arena and have the fan base they have now. So shout out to SLU for being there for me all those years and continue to do what they're doing now. So they have a really good team. Looking forward to seeing a lot of my guys from the St. Louis area do their thing this year. So
Right.
Shout out to SLU for sure.
So with you being a alum of SLU as well, does that mean you get like cool perks? Like you ain't got to pay to go to games anytime you want to? How does that work?
Well, I do go to I don't go to a lot of SLU games.
Mhm.
Um, I'm more supportive of the individual players than I am of the actual team.
Okay.
Have a really good relationship with some of the players, which is kind of my way of kind of giving back. If I do want to to a game, yes, I can go to a game. Have really good seats. They do a good job. They do, I wouldn't even say they do, SLU does a good job, man. They do a great job with the alumni for years. Of getting alumni trying to come back. To have alumni weekend events multiple times during the season. You can come check out practice and things like that. More so now than ever. Definitely going to take advantage on it because of my children. I do want my son, to actually go see it. Now that he actually is interested in playing basketball, so now to be able to, walk on the court, and my son who has no clue of what's going on, be like, "Hey, Daddy, look at all these people. This is, this is, Schaefer's Arena is second to none." So I am grateful for that, and definitely going to take advantage of that more, in the future for sure.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. So you brought up North Carolina earlier. Would you say that was your favorite away court, or was that another experience that you had at a different court?
Yeah, North Carolina number one. That's man. I mean, you look at it. Come on now. You have
Right.
Rasheed Wallace, Michael Jordan, James Worthy.
All
At that time, Rashad McCann, all them had just won the championship like a few years before. That's North Carolina. Going to North Carolina, I don't think you could beat that. I mean, I walk in as a kid, I would play the video game NCAA, and
yes,
the
sir.
crowd on the video game would be yelling, "Tar Heels, Tar Heels," and you run out and you actually witness and see that. Oh man, you can't beat that. You can't beat that. But North Carolina is definitely number one. I would say in a close second is Gonzaga.
Okay.
My freshman year, we got an opportunity to play Gonzaga. I actually played Gonzaga twice. I played them. I played North Carolina when they were the number one team in the country, and I also played Gonzaga my sophomore year when they were the number one team in the country with Adam Morrison. We played them here, but my freshman year we actually played. That was my first away game. My first away game was at Gonzaga. It was their first home game, so that's number two. And at that time, Gonzaga was an up and coming. And if you look at, I mean, it's Gonzaga of now. That's what was coming to you. That was what was coming to the forefront. They had Adam Morrison, who was
Mhm.
he was the man.
Right. Right.
They had Ronnie Turioff, who was a first round draft pick for the Lakers. Had another guy named Batista, who was actually really good.
Yep.
They had Ravio, who was their starting point guard, who was really good. So if you could think back, man, they were the number one team in the country around that time. So we go up to Spokane, Washington. Never heard of that in my life. So we go up to Spokane. We get to the game about 3 hours early. So we get to the game 3 hours early. So I'm like, all right, let me go out here and get my stuff on. Go out there, shoot me some shots, get warmed up. And I go out to the court at Gonzaga. And the entire student section, I'm talking about like maybe like 6,000 people at the time. It's probably a lot more. About 6,000 people. The entire student section is filled 3 hours before the game. A
Woo.
sea of red around the entire stadium. A sea of red. And I can remember, again, I'm a realist. I walk out and they hold signs and everything. They know everything about you. They know about your family, everything, right? So I go out and I remember one of the fans. I'm only 5'9". One of the fans was like, "Oh my God, it's a midget." Oh man, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. But I was like, man, I'm home. I'm like, this is what it's about.
Wow.
But Gonzaga is the second best place that I actually got a chance to play. For
So
sure.
when you go to places like Gonzaga and North Carolina, how hard was it to tune out the noise? Once you get on the court and playing, or was it not an issue at all? Because you've been playing for the V and been playing at other venues in the past.
For me, it was the excitement factor of actually seeing things that I saw as a kid on TV, and now I'm there. It wasn't hard for me to tune it out because I had been through it at Vashon, and
Mhm.
Mhm.
again, we were fortunate enough to be on a level to where we can experience certain things and having big crowds and having fans yelling at you and things like that. So it wasn't a really hard adjustment for me. um, than the actual level of play. I wanted to play. I was so happy to be out there that I kind of tuned it out and kind of knew exactly what to expect. When going into those type of environments.
Nice. So going back a little bit in regards to Vashon, we all know that Vashon is what I call the mecca in regards to basketball here in St. Louis, and we've been blessed to have a lot of great talent from the Joe Sheltons to Anthony Bonner back in the day, Sean Tunsil, and once again Joel and Jimmy McKinney, so many other guys, yourself, and then now you have Nick Kern Jr. doing this thing, and you have Cam Fletcher, and you have so many guys, Phil Russell, so many guys out there doing their thing, but you see Chaminade and what Tatum has done, David Lee has done, and Bradley Beal. Those guys have been able to go to college and then go to the league. That has not been that a thing for the V in quite some time. If I can recall, it may have been Anthony Bonner. If it's somebody else, please in the comment let me know. Do you feel that that shift is changing where now we're getting to a point where you might start seeing Vashon stars go through college and then go to the NBA?
Most definitely. And I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it's just Vashon kids too. That get that opportunity. I mean, you can look up now. I mean, now at this time, we probably have more kids from the St. Louis area that are
Right.
in the NBA now than before.
And
Um,
and the reason why I say the V because of course you and I went there, so I'm just trying
yeah.
to.
Oh yeah. Yeah. For sure. For
Right.
sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
for those saying what about other schools? No, I know other schools do anything. Otto,
Right.
hey, Otto Porter, all them. They shouts out to them. But I'm just trying to focus
Xavier Sneed, gotta shout my boy out. That's my guy
right,
right there.
right. So
Got
I'm
to gotta give him a
trying to
shout out.
focus on right now, the V because once again, there's been so many great hoopers.
Mhm.
Like for instance, Joe Sheldon. You just would have thought that after what he did in high school, that he just would have been the big name in college, and it just didn't happen that way. You know what I'm saying? Something in life happens, and it's like, oh, he's a Vashon legend, but you don't see him out there digging V's saying your name. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. No,
So
I agree.
right.
Yeah.
So do you feel like we're getting to that point now that these kids that's in school and college may be getting to that next level of okay, NBA is right there now.
Yes, sir. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Um, and to single out Vashon kids, I would say the talent level that has come out, the most recent has the greatest chance.
Mm.
And the only reason I say that is because in college now they're doing it. If you look at Nicholas Kern, um, and I go in Nicholas Kern Jr. And I go into the history, man. I was at the hospital when Nicholas Kern Jr. was born.
Wow.
But
Make you feel old on it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I can say the same thing about Mario
Right.
McKinney. I can say the
Right.
same thing about him. With them, they have a better chance because of some of the guys like myself or like Jimmy or like Joe who has been there at Vashon with them to tell them the story and to tell them why what we didn't do that they could change on what they can do to get to the next level. Um, which is something that Shaman I had before. I mean, you had a David Lee to make it to the league. So then when Brad comes in, you got a player like David Lee that's made it to the league. Now, David, can share a little bit of knowledge with Brad. I mean, when you look up, Daly went to Florida, Brad
Mhm.
went to Florida.
Right.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, Brad, Jason, David Lee, them top. They are the top when you talk about basketball. When from St. Louis for sure. And I'm close to all of them. But speaking just in general, just about Vashon, I mean, though the kids who are coming out now have a better chance only because of, learning from not necessarily our mistakes because we played on a different level, but also how to take that and take it to another level. What you need to do to as far as staying in the gym, networking. When you're on the court, when you're in the system, what can you do to stand out? When you're off the court, who are you networking with? Who are you working out with? Are you working out? Not necessarily high your grades because a lot of the kids that go through there. I mean, now we deal with great kids, man. They have great families, but making sure they're on top of everything. Joe is one phone call away from Cam Fletcher. Mario McKinney is one phone call away from Jimmy McKinney. Phil Russell is one phone call away from myself. We've been there, we've done it. And the only thing we could do is share or highly recommend, different, pieces of advice to make sure that they give themselves an opportunity to make it to the next level. Um, and when you look up during basketball season, in the winter, you'll get a chance to see who has a chance. When you look at Keyshawn Gilbert at UNLV, when you look at Cameron Fletcher at Florida State, when you look at Nicholas Kern Jr. at VCU,
Mhm.
and I'll be honest, when you look at Philip Russell as a freshman, he was first team all conference. I mean, that's hard to do as a freshman. Newcomer of the year. I mean, we're doing it those type of things as a freshman on the basketball court. That's different. So, now our kids are giving themselves the opportunity to take it to the next level. So, it's exciting to watch, especially since they're coming from that, Vashon background.
Right.
And within the next few years, don't be surprised if you see one, two, maybe three, kids that get a chance or an opportunity to make it to Nuba. We don't I mean by that is the
Yeah, I
NBA.
don't know about
So
Luka. Yeah.
yeah, Nuba, yeah, makes it to the NBA. So just be on the lookout and good luck to all those players that are in college doing their thing right now for sure.
Most definitely. So, as we wind down this interview, this has been incredible. I hope y'all have been enjoying this interview with the one, the only. Well, you actually have three different Dwayne Polk. We have this one on the platform Sports Talk Show. We're gonna do a rapid fire. So I'm gonna ask you just a couple more questions
Okay.
and just give me your first thoughts. All right. So, going back to Tony Irons. So you played with Floyd and you known Tony since back in high school, your high school years, and then just tell us about real quick the success that he's brought to the V because for a minute it was kind of quiet, but then he got on, and all of a sudden it's just been domination city again. I mean, to the likes of him doing the way that he's doing things now, maybe succeeding what his father has been doing. So, your thoughts, real quick, about Tony Irons and also being a coach at the V.
All right. First off, you can never downplay Floyd Irons and Coach Irons and what he did, but man, Tony Irons is amazing. I mean, he's on a different level right now. And if you see, what type of person he is and what type of attitude he puts into being a coach, at Vashon High School, you would definitely understand everything. Him being a coach is you know definitely one of the best things that could happen. Considering that for a minute we were down for a few years. But Tony's doing his thing. Um, like I said, since 2016, to now he's pretty much won the state championship outside of 2 years.
Right.
One we lost to St. Mary's, and one was because of COVID. So I got this joke now, man. Like he could have won 5 in a row now, but I got this joke now. I said, man, the only person that can beat you is COVID.
Right.
When it comes to Vashon basketball. So um, but Tony, he's headed there. He puts in the work though, man. If you around him and you see what he does, he's not necessarily a shadow of his father, um, because he does things his own way. As hard as it is to say that he wants to do something better than his father and things like that, but he's doing it his way, and I see it every day. I see it when we have our talks. I see it how he's coaching, but he's definitely doing it his way, and I'm proud of him. I mean, I think everybody could say that too, and he's on his way to doing something that's never been done before in Missouri State basketball history for sure.
Yes, he is. Ms. Williams asks, in addition to academics and athletic ability, do coaches look at community involvement and or extracurricular activities?
Yes, that is one of the major things. I mean, I can't speak for all programs. I can't speak for Vashon. Being a basketball player at Vashon is not only during the winter. We do a lot of things in the community. As far as free camps at Vashon, with academics, at Vashon, if you look at the Vashon staff now, they're a lot more hands-on than they have been in the past. Shout out to Brenda Smith, who is the principal of Vashon, who's a Vashon alumnus as well. She does a really good job, just as far as making sure the academics are up to par around the building, making sure we have the support of the staff, and making sure that Vashon culture is there within the building like it should be and how it was, back in the day. Um, but as far as the Vashon program, if you look up, with the Demetrius Johnson Charitable Foundation, there's been multiple years where, they're out giving out turkeys in the winter, with Demetrius Johnson. One year there was an organization that actually gave free shoes to kids and actually the Vashon players. I believe it was Phil Russell's junior year where we went to actually different St. Louis public schools giving out free shoes. So the community involvement, like I said, is not just during basketball season in the winter. When you're an athlete, at Vashon, that definitely is 24/7, 7 days a week, 12 months a year, which is why they're so successful, with actually getting an opportunity to go play college sports, not necessarily basketball, because they do have those extracurricular activities outside of basketball that they can put on their resumes when they're writing those letters, to go to college for admission and everything as well.
Nice, nice. Suzanne Goodwin. That name should sound familiar, right?
That's my girl. Yes, yes.
So my co-host who was on before Bunny, that's her sister.
Okay, okay. Tell
Yeah.
Bunny she's in the Vashon family too. She just don't know it.
No, no, she knows, especially through Suzanne. So just talk about the impact that she has had on the team, and I know that she's also one of the coaches of the football team as well.
Yes, Miss Goodwin is amazing. She does a lot for the Vashon program. When you talk about high school sports coaches, again, I'm only gonna single out Vashon. I don't know what everybody else do, but I know what we do. That's a 24/7 job. I've seen days where Miss Goodwin has stayed late, to wash uniforms, to make sure that the football team is looking good when they're running out on there on those, Saturday or Friday night games. I've seen days where, Miss Goodwin, pays out her own pocket to bring in snacks on early mornings for practice, for football, basketball, and things like that. But and singling her out, she does a really good job. I mean, if you look back, you couldn't tell me that she didn't go to Vashon High School, even though she didn't. But her support, that she brings to the school is what everything is about when you talk about Vashon. And that's one of the things that Principal Smith has done. She's done a really good job of putting staff, in the building, that not only want to have a job to be a part of Vashon, but actually takes Vashon and turn it into actually their family. And when you talk about it, that's all Vashon is. It's a big family. When you look at it, again, I can say for myself, uh, you know, uh, when you look at Mario McKinney, when you look at Cameron Fletcher, when you look at Nick Kern Jr., it's not like I was just their coach, but I actually saw them grow up.
Mm-hmm.
I was there when they were born in the hospital. I was around them, running up and down the west side, and things like that. So it's more than just coaching and being around. It's a family, and that's the entire Vashon culture that you see now.
And as you just kind of just brought up, you're like a father figure to a lot of these guys. So talk about this fatherhood for you and how much it means to you.
Um, that's number two. Number one, I'm a husband first. I'm the husband. Without my wife, man, shout out to my wife, Swayze. I
Hey,
love her to death. I mean, without my wife, I wouldn't have made a lot of the different changes that I need to, needed to make to be, even the father that I am today, to my children. Um, but my kids are my world. Um, and the only reason I did step away from, coaching at Vashon, a few years ago was because of my kids.
mm-hmm.
I felt that, if I can, be around, Nick's son and make sure he's doing what he's doing, being around Mario, make sure he's doing what he's doing, being around Cam, being around Daniel Ferris, Peanut, making sure they, getting through what they need to get through. And my kids are getting older. I spent a lot of time with those guys, but I felt like it was in me to give that same energy back to my kids. My daughter, Destiny Polk, she actually is a senior at Lafayette High School.
Nice.
She plays basketball. And, I can't be at Vashon games and be at Destiny games at the same time.
Right.
So, I had to step away to be at Destiny's games. I had to step away to make sure Destiny's getting everything she needs to either play basketball or to go to college, to do what she wants to do. Um, and then my son, my oldest son, Deshaun, he's not an athlete, but he's into theater and he's a hell of a performer. When it comes to dance and when it comes to theater. Like I said, he's at Visual Performing Arts. I got an opportunity to go this year to their yearly. They do a performing arts show with the dance department and also the theater department at VAP. And I'm gonna tell y'all now, if you've never been, you need to go
Uh-oh.
because it is amazing. It is amazing. I'm talking about dance, lights, different acts and things like that. And my son is, at one of the forefronts of that. So having an opportunity to go there and see him dancing and doing his thing, I wouldn't give that or trade that for anything in the world. Even if it was my state championships at Vashon, I'd get those away in a heartbeat. Just to be around, my son, seeing him perform, and my daughter to see, her play basketball and and also play, which is Dwayne, to see him growing up and playing. So, I give that all up in a heartbeat just to be around them.
That's beautiful. And you are correct, man. Marriage is a beautiful thing. Shouts out to my wife, Jamie. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman and just makes me appreciate life that much more. Shouts out to my baby girl Miracle as well, and to my son Lil Fred. But yeah, marriage life is beautiful. And I've been married since 9/11, since last year. So definitely been a life changer for me and definitely grateful for her. So, hey, a husband, man. Hey,
Yes.
I
Yes. I
feel
mean,
you. It's amazing.
yeah, but again, I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. That was the best decision I've, probably made in my life
Thanks.
is that. And just a little history. Me and my wife, like I said, I got a lot of history, man. Me and my wife, we go back when, I mean, I was 7, I was like 9 years old when I met my wife. So we go back. She was raised on the west side of St. Louis. She's an athlete too. So a lot of my life is, dedicated to, a lot of my, my past, with everything. So, I'm just grateful and thankful. The Lord has blessed me in tremendous ways, man. And I can only just, smile and be grateful for everything that has come about with me, for sure. For
Which,
sure.
which leads to, I know that I see that you have a business. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct. It's actually, I look, hey, I'm gonna be honest. Like I said, I'm a realist. Um, my wife has a talent, that is, there's one reason why I'm her husband. My wife, I would put my wife's cooking up against anybody in the world. We started a business, um, the real Bertha Lee's Kitchen. I know y'all probably been seeing advertisements all over social media. Uh, I advertise. I'm the advertising and marketing person. That is me. I
Nice.
talk to everybody. I put it out. But that food is my wife. I ain't cooking nothing. I can't cook nothing. My wife, she does a good job, man. It is blowing up a little bit, and I do have the community though, man. Without the community and without everybody supporting, the real Bertha Lee's Kitchen, it wouldn't be what it is, and still growing to this day. So, shout out to everybody that's been supporting. Be on the lookout. We got those loaded baked potatoes coming this week again.
Oh,
So
oh,
if y'all want to, put in them pre-orders and everything, you can head to my, my Instagram, my Twitter, my Facebook, and things like that. So I know it, he put it on the flyer. So, but it's the real Bertha Lee's Kitchen, which is on Instagram is at the real Bertha Lee's Kitchen LCC on Instagram. So y'all can go ahead and hit that follow button now, as well.
that's what so you said. That's at the real Bertha Lee's Kitchen.
Yep, at the real Bertha Lee's Kitchen LLC on Instagram.
Nice, nice, nice. I'm the wife and I got to go ahead and definitely check you out, man. Well, should I say your wife out and
Right, right,
in regards to the cooking, man, because we love some good food. So
right.
definitely check that out as well. How weird is it to see Lorenzo Gordon on TV?
Oh man, that is crazy. Right. Uh, man. I mean, and then you say Lorenzo. I call him man. That's my
Right,
guy.
right,
That's
right.
my
Me
guy.
too.
Man. And if you grew up with him, and he was a senior when I was a freshman, but I've been around him for a long time. I mean, everything that he has going on, he deserves all of that because, I mean, he works so hard, man. I mean, coming from where we come from, in our past and the neighborhood we grew up in and our family situation, things like that. I mean, he doing it, man. And he got his businesses going on. He on TV. He's definitely a celebrity for sure. Shout out to my man. Shout out to Lorenzo Gordon. Everything like that too. So he definitely doing his thing. For sure, for sure.
And it's funny because like when he be on the show, I was like, "Yep, that's the same man from high school."
Same man, same man. I'll be honest. Like, I mean, he's on it. I mean, he's on the show because he's really good. He's a really good basketball player. I mean, that lets you know. I mean, he took advantage of a different thing, and you could talk about it like this too. I mean, I know he didn't make it to the NBA, but he was a 12-year pro.
Mm,
I mean, Jimmy McKinney was a 10-year pro, and he only retired because of Jimmy McKinney Jr., his son. So he wanted to spend more time with his son.
mm.
So you have a lot of different professional basketball players that did come from Vashon High School. Not necessarily made it to the NBA on the highest stage, but you got James Washington. James Washington still a pro to this day. You had
Really?
Leon Powell, who was a pro. Of course, myself, um, and I'm trying to think. We had a lot of pros, man. I'm trying to think. I'm still going down the line. From my senior year, Curtis Muse, was a professional basketball
Mhm.
player. I mean, in the NFL, you got Will Franklin,
Right.
my other best friend. Will Franklin made it to the NFL. So, when we talk about, um, you know, not necessarily making it to the NBA, but guys that were pros and also did things after college. I mean, when you look at Will Franklin, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but he has a bar down on Washington, which is
Yeah, you know what?
wow.
We have not. We tried to go there a few weeks ago, but that day it was closed. But yeah, Risky on Washington. Got to
Yep,
check it out.
Whiskey on Washington is wild, which is Will Franklin. If you get a chance, I know Wednesday nights is their karaoke night. I love karaoke. I'm not sure about you guys, but I
Ah,
get on that mic during karaoke and
that's
have
a
a really
wrap.
good time. Yeah, but he's doing very well even after going to the NFL. So,
Yeah,
it's a lot of people that actually go through Vashon High School. That have done great things even after college. As well.
yeah. He's been actually a two-time guest on our show already.
Okay, okay. Have my boy on. That's my brother, man. Like I
Yeah.
said, a lot of guys I say my boy. That's my brother, my brothers though. So, definitely happy to hear he was definitely on the show for sure.
So with that being said, what's next for you?
Um, the next thing, my wife, is actually pregnant. We're gonna have another girl, another baby girl. Yay! We have another baby girl. So that's she'll be here in October. So that's pretty much like the next thing on my list of things is making sure my wife goes through a great pregnancy and have another great baby girl. And still getting the real Bertha's kitchen off the ground. So it's flowing really smooth. Week by week, everything is looking well. Just need a little bit more support. little bit more support. So, once that does happen, that'll be next for me. Pretty much my baby girl, and the real Bertha's kitchen. So those are the two most important things to me right now.
Nice. And any special shout outs?
Um, I'm gonna give a shout out to two of my other individuals, my other daughters, well, three actually. My daughter Jaden, and my two rugrats, Daisy and Daly. Definitely my daughters. They have done a great job of keeping quiet. If you know my daughters and you follow me on social media, you know how I am with them. So shout out to them for keeping quiet while Dad's doing the interview. My mom, my dad, and the rest of my family, man. I appreciate all you guys. I love you. And keep supporting and getting on me when y'all need to, man. I love all y'all.
Man, well, this has been an incredible show. I definitely appreciate you being on, the one and only. Well, once again, Dwayne Polk. But definitely, man, it's been an honor to have you on the show and have your story told, the jokes and everything, man. I appreciate you very much, man.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me on, man. I wish you guys much success, many more blessings to all you guys' family. And again, thanks again. I really do appreciate you guys.
They definitely appreciate it, man. And for all those watching, once again, for the first time, definitely give us a follow. Once again, we are everywhere, okay? When I say everywhere, we are everywhere.
Yes, they are.
On Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. Subscribe, click on the bell so anytime we go live, you will be notified. The show is also uploaded on Roku as soon as the stream is over. And from 7 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time each week, we will be on Hot 365 Radio, so you can listen to us as well. Crystal Clear HD. It is the Platform Sports Talk Show. And I am your boy Smoooth. And it's definitely been another great show. Shouts out to Bunny. Shouts out to Joe, to Stan, to T-Bone. Tomorrow morning, wife and I are going out to Miami. Gonna do our thing for the next few days. Shouts out to Fong, celebrate her 4-0. So give us some blessings and prayers and everything that we make. Have a wonderful time and return back on Monday, refreshed and ready for more. Once again, this is the Platform Sports Talk Show. Your boy Smoooth, Mr. Jack of all trades. Y'all have a great, and I mean great, rest of your night and rest of the week. Platform Sports Talk Show, y'all. Y'all have a good one. We out.